Yo, hello. Kel, good to see you, sir. Stoner, hello. Sean, good to see you. How you doing, sir? For some reason, of course, went to sleep, no problem. Wake up, allergies are crazy. What up, Palmer? How you doing? Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just how it happens. But that's okay, because I'm excited to do this. And let's do this. And go here. We have some games on here. Let's see. And this is just going to go straight up to YouTube and probably both channels actually because the other channel's the ranking channel. What up, Mira? How you doing? Ooh, let's go. Interview prep. That's what I'm talking about. Still in bed. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Stoner, you were up for a while too. That was a good raid last night. That was awesome. I was very excited. It's actually Telly was like, "Yo, Stoner Chick might raid Anna, and you are tired, so that would be a great place to go." And we could celebrate Anna's birthday. And of course, I mean, you were spot on. Absolutely killed it yesterday on stream. Then rated Anna. And it's like, yeah, that's what it's all about, man. That's fucking awesome. That's so good. Raven, hello. Zerdan, hello. Good to see y'all. Hope you're doing amazing. Yeah, it's so good. I was that was a fun time too. Hell yeah. Um. All right. Well, welcome in, everybody. Good to see you all. We have 100 games, and these are all games that I have played, obviously, but also games that are kind of like personal favorites and games that I thought were awesome, or games that I played and I liked, but I didn't know why I liked. But it's just kind of all over the place, really. Um, yeah, let's go, Raven. Little breakfast action. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. All right, so we have the categories just basically 1 through 10. It's going to be a ranking. So it's not just like a it's not that what's it called? We're just doing like a list of what game I think is better or worse or whatever. I mean, they're all games I think are awesome, but um I'm going to try to get them in order from 1 to 10, 11, 20. Like I mean, literally a true like 1 through 100 ranking. And stuff's going to get mixed around, of course. Like I'll throw something in here just to kind of start and it'll move up or down based on that. What's up, Raichka? Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. I hope you all are doing well. Yeah, I don't know. Is Final Fantasy X? So Final Fantasy X is a game that I actually loved compared to a lot of the other Final Fantasy games, and especially games that came out around that time. I thought just the way it was done was perfect. We'll go over it when we get to it, of course. But yeah, I like Final Fantasy. Now a lot of this stuff is old. A lot of this stuff is old. I played a lot of games back in the day. Some stuff is new though. There are some newer games on here. Not a lot though. Um, yeah, there's a lot of Call of Duties out there, and some of them were actually pretty awesome. But they were awesome for many reasons, and some of the newer ones are not for many reasons. But I played more games than I realized. I've liked less games than I realized though. Getting to 100 was kind of a struggle. I think the last 15 I was like, all right, what are games that I just love or I could play anytime? So, yeah, that's what we'll do. I mean, basically I just kind of started with what I remember. They're not in real any kind of order or anything like that, but we're going to just, Banjo-Kazooie is the first game here, and it's one of my favorite games just in general. I mean, right off the bat, like it's a game that I literally love. I could always go back to. It's not going to be one necessarily. It might be, but it's going to be up here for sure. I mean, it's a game I could literally pick up any day and have a good time with. I like collecting stuff, so that's going to shape a lot of the list. Um, there are some secret things on here, but it's not like Duke Nukem where there's a lot of secret things, and I love that. So I don't know. It's going to be an interesting 1 through 10, but yeah. So right, I'm going to rank them based on how much I like them, like just personally. Like there's a lot of things that go into different games. Obviously, each game is different for different things. Like some games are more collector heavy, some games are more story heavy. Some games wrap you up more. Some games you can play, like, it's more fun to play with people. And you just, the amount of fun I can have with the game, or like how it makes me feel based on previous experiences and then coming back to it, current experiences. Because a lot of these I've actually played recently too on YouTube or, just whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's a subjective list. It's not like this game has the best story and everything, because there are a lot of games that have great stories. There are a lot of games that are beautiful and well designed that I just don't really get into. I mean, you're not going to find a Souls game on here because as much as people love them and as well done as they are to the people that like the Souls games, I can't stand them. So, there's probably not a whole lot of like, you're not going to see like a Sonic game. I played a couple of Sonic games, but just not enough to really, care too much about them. But anyway, Banjo-Kazooie is going to be up 1 through 10 up here. And like I say, it's just one of my favorites. I like, it's generic story. It's not anything like super special, but it is definitely a collector heavy game. It's pretty straightforward. There's not a ton of backtracking. There's a couple little parts of backtracking on here. So it's pretty linear, and that's the only reason I feel like Kazooie and Tooie are kind of on the same playing field. They're two very different type of games when it comes to like how you play it. I mean, Tooie feels more open world and a lot more backtracking, but also connected. The actual levels in Banjo-Kazooie are very open world. Something I was talking to Jed about yesterday is like the difference between Mario 64 and Banjo-Kazooie. It's a little heavier on the collecting in Kazooie, but you also can jump into the game and just play it like each level. So each level you need to get, the moves, the notes, the puzzle pieces, all that. And, you're stuck kind of one mission, one time on Mario 64. Now, the cool thing about Mario 64 is you can kind of play it however you want to, right? But you have to play each mission specifically. So, like, if you're getting 1 star, you're knocked out of the painting. Whereas Kazooie, you can just track all the puzzle pieces. You can go in and go out and be done with it all. So, I don't know. I love that because it doesn't really stop your flow, Yeah, sounds good, Panda. Let's go, Raven. Hell yeah. Tooie, I'm going to put right next door. I think Tooie is an incredible game. I think it's a little different, though. There's a lot of collecting in there, of course, a lot more backtracking. World feels kind of connected. Yeah. It's only 1 for now, though. I don't know if it's going to stay number 1. That's the thing. Like, I'm just going in order. I know it's not going to be an 11 through 20. That's for sure. So it's up here. I just don't know if anything's going to go ahead of it or not. We got Vigilante 8, y'all. This game is a lot of fun. It's a very co-op kind of game. It has a story, but, the story's kind of ridiculous. The fun thing about this game is it doesn't take itself too seriously, but it's got good music, and it's just kind of a fun, like, back and forth, shooter car kind of game. It's like Twisted Metal, which there's no Twisted Metal on here, and I like one of the Twisted Metal games a lot, but I've only played like 1 or 2 of them. And this to me was always just like a better version of that game, and I thought they were all pretty cool, but this was a 64 classic to me. Not a lot of people I know have heard of it, but it's pretty damn fun. The only thing is, though, there's a second one, and the second one is really good. So the thing is, like I said, I like all these games, so if it's 91 through 100, it's still a game that's awesome, Mario 64, I'm going to put up here too. I don't know where, though, because I really, really have been getting into this lately, especially. And last year, I just could not keep my hands off of this game. I wanted to play it all the time. It's so funny. I grew up not loving the game, but having a lot of fond memories of it, like just the images and the excitement of having it and everything like that. And it was just really new and cool, and like, you could kind of do whatever you wanted. It's still one of those games where you literally can do whatever you want. It's super open world feel and super, just fun to get in and collect and do stuff. But these 3 for sure are going to be up in this part of the list. I just don't know how exactly we're going to organize them yet. Battle tanks. Global Assault's a lot of fun. Definitely a multiplayer kind of game, though. The campaign's fun. There's a lot of little ins and outs with the game itself, but I like a lot of the car and tank kind of shooter games. This one, I have a lot of fond memories with this one, and going back to it, it holds up fairly well too. I think the car games did pretty well on the 64 because just the single joystick, you could move around and it was not a disaster like having to run, look, and aim and stuff. It was like, no, you're kind of on this flat plane and your car just aims, you know, you're basically driving a giant crosshair, so, a giant iron sight. So it's a lot more fun and a lot more adapted for the 64, I feel like. 8.2, the second version of this game, I think they did a lot of stuff better. It's kind of the same game, just a little different. So it's hard to move these anywhere else. Definitely had the same kind of vibes, like a decent campaign that was kind of silly, great music, and then just overall a fun experience, especially with multiple people. Like me playing with my brother all the time, like we did all of these just constantly together. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, well, that's the thing. The retro games are great. That's why I started the YouTube channel, because there was a lot that I missed out on. Like I hit up the NES and the 64, and that was what I grew up with. There was no Sega, there was no PlayStation, none of that. It was just those two consoles. No Super Nintendo or anything. So I was, it's nice to have this channel to like kind of go back and mess around with. But yeah, these are all kind of in the same category, just those tank or car shooter games. There's a lot more complexity to this game, but I think that this just had a lot more character, really. And they tried to make this a real serious, like, save the world kind of story, which I respect it, but at the same time, it's, especially in the 90s, it was kind of a little bit of a joke. It's like, we're destroying the world here. I don't know. It was interesting. The first Battle Tanks is great, but I'm definitely gonna put it down here. It's pretty rough around the edges. Like where Vigilante 8.2 and 1 are kind of just improvements, minor tweaks, a lot of fun. Battle Tanks was great. We got this one first, and then we accidentally got this one. So that was the big thing about the 64. Games came out very fast at the time, so you would get like the sequel the next year usually. And so if we rented like Battle Tanks 1, the sequel comes out, we end up buying this one not knowing it. We're just young and stupid. That happened with Duke Nukem also. But this one ended up being way better than the first one. The first one, there was limited units, limited maps. It looked worse. It still had that dystopian feel. It's a lot darker in look and also tone. So it's a lot of fun, but I mean, Global Assault's just a clear improvement everywhere around with this one. The multiplayer's better, the campaign's awesome, so that's just kind of where we're at there. Duke Nukem, man, 64 specifically. Like, I wanted to put 3D on here because, I mean, it is Duke Nukem 3D, but the port to the 64. The difference is the 64 version is 3D plus other things. Added weapons, added multiplayer. They added a bunch of stuff in to make it uniquely distinct for the 64 and still following the story. Some of the level design is different. There's a lot of secrets in it, a lot of great things. This is a fun campaign that doesn't take itself too seriously. It's got a lot of levels in it too. So the playability goes on, the secret levels, and then also the multiplayer. The multiplayer was fantastic. One of the best co-op multiplayers out at the time. It's going to go up here around these guys. I don't know if it's going to be 1 or 10, but we'll organize this part later on. I'm pretty confident about these being where they are, but this list, I think it just changes so much depending on mood. Especially like Tui, I didn't even love at first. I thought it was such a strange departure from Kazooie and then the backtracking nightmare. However, it's been a lot of fun lately, and I have a lot of appreciation for it now. So, I don't know. 0 Hour, I'm going to put here. I think it's a great game, a great first-person shooter. But the multiplayer for me was more the thing. I mean, it was like time traveling, and I liked there was different sets and things like that. Um, yeah, I don't know. I like this one a lot. I never played 3 actually. It's probably not great, but yeah, I was not a huge fan of Banjo Nuts and Bolts. And it's a good game too, apparently, that people say, but it's just not a good Banjo game, you know. Zero Hour is cool. Like a lot of different weapons, a lot of different updated look and feel of the game for the 64. I I don't know. The multiplayer was so good. I never actually beat the story, but the story was a lot of fun to follow. If I had this game again, we'd record it. So I'm going to try to find it or get it again or whatever, but I really want to play through this one. It was a lot of fun. It was something I really looked forward to playing all the time, you know, because it had that 3D feel, but just way more polish. Um, I just didn't think it had the same kind of appeal as 64 though, because it lost some of those key features that made 64 so great. There was no co-op mode, which is insane because the co-op in 64 and 3D was so fun. And the multiplayer took out the Duke bots. So, you know, me and my brother were 2 people and we didn't want to verse each other. We wanted to team up and verse bots. But we couldn't do that in this one. So we had to gather 2 other buddies from the neighborhood to play this every now and then. And, you know, it was a lot of fun, but it's just one of those where everything kind of has to go right. You know what I mean? Um, yeah. You know, it's just a whole different game. They just basically made a game and slapped, you know, Banjo Kazooie on it to market it. That's why there was, you know, a problem with that game. People thought they were getting, you know, Banjo 3E, and they weren't. They were getting Banjo Kazooie skin on top of, like, you know, Pimp My Ride or something. I mean, it was just like not at all what you expected. Diddy Kong Racing, I don't know. That might be a 10. It might be. I'm gonna put it here for now, but it might go up to this level because I thought it was the superior racing game on the 64. Um, I don't know. I really like Diddy Kong Racing. It's cool because it's an actual racing game with a story too. You know, like Mario Kart 64, you just if you wanted to race, you just raced. There's the battle mode, of course, it was a lot of fun, but man, Diddy Kong was great because there was a point to doing it by yourself. There was also different stuff that you could do in the single player. You know, there's like time trials and collectibles and things like that. Of course, you know, it's a rare game, so there's going to be some collectibles in there, but it was really awesome. That game is fantastic. It's definitely like I just don't know what else is going to go up in that 10 spot, like the 1 through 10, so I'll keep it there for now, but I mean, it really is something that was just absolutely fantastic. I loved this game. I can't wait to record it and play it again because it's like actually fantastic. Um, Star Fox 64 is an interesting one. I think it's a lot of fun, but it was very hard even at the time for me to kind of get over the theming of it. I just thought it was a little too out there, you know, especially because I liked playing a lot of the Star Wars games and stuff. So, like, I liked having, like, the Rogue Squadron and the Shadow of the Empire and stuff. So, when we got it's a really fun game, but it's just so hard to get over some of the cheesiness of the game. It's still great, but I just never enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed a lot of these other ones. Yeah, I went back and played it and it was fun. There's some difficulty depending on what path you take, of course, which is cool. Because for me personally, like I don't mind having an easy route, and then sometimes I don't mind having a harder route. There's secrets and stuff in here too, some cool Easter eggs that I didn't realize. But you know, it's hard to get onto this one and replay it anything other than just trying to beat like your best run, which is fun. But you know, a lot of these other games you can increase the difficulty or, you know, speed run it or, you know, collect everything or 100% or find different ways to do it. This one, it's just like you just basically are on a rail and you just go through. So I don't know. I like Star Fox 64. It's a lot of fun. It just doesn't really go all the way up for me. Shadow of the Empire. That's a great game, but it's going down here. Definitely going down there because I like the game a lot. There's specific levels on this game that I think are fantastic. I think the asteroid field is very simple but fun. I think the Hoth level is just the best way to get people sucked into this game. I mean, when you're in a snow speeder, especially back in the day, and you're doing the Hoth battle, it's just one of the coolest experiences ever, and you can like be super immersed in it. After that, it follows, Dash Rendar, whatever his name is, and there's a couple of levels on there that are really, really difficult. It is very clanky in certain areas, but it's very cool. It's a very fun, dark kind of story, and it's done really well. I just think, it's just right in the middle because it could definitely improve if there's a reboot. There's a lot of rough around the edges, but it's also one of those that has a lot of charm and is unique. So I'm going to keep it right here. Doom 64, I'm going to put down here. Great game. Love Doom 64. Love playing it. But to me, it's just kind of like you pick your shooter game back in the day, right? Like you have a franchise you like. I like Duke Nukem. Some people like Doom. Some people like Quake. Some people, there's a lot of different kinds of them. I enjoyed Doom, but to me, when I play it, it's like, I just, Duke 64 was like, okay, this is my version of the game. It's very dark, and I was terrified of this game growing up. Playing it again, it's fantastic, but, I just, I really enjoy more of the I don't know. Duke was just kind of that more kind of outdoor. You felt more immersed in the game. Um to me at least. And then the secrets in Duke Nukem were more um fun to find. I thought like Doom 64 had some really random ones and stuff like that. I don't know. Like it does. It's a game that's designed to be harder. So that's the other thing too. Like, you can change the difficulty on Duke and feel the increase because there's more enemies or there's might be less weapons or whatever. The other good thing is this co-op mode. You got more guns, you got more ammo and stuff like that. So it wasn't like you and whoever you're playing with were fighting over everything. There was just extra stuff. Doom, it was just like you really do feel like you're kind of on an island here in more ways than one. And like I like the game, but it's just yeah, I mean, Duke Nukem was my thing. And going back and playing it, it's fun to play through, but it's never been one that I'm like, I want to really play this or pick this up again. Where like I could play Duke 3D now and be happy playing it. So that's kind of where I'm looking at that for. Yeah, Mario 64, dude. Mario Kart 64 is, we got Diddy Kong up here already. I like this game's multiplayer, like battle and stuff. The actual circuits were fun, but I think after a while, it's just, I don't know. I'm going to put it here. At the time when it came out, it was the greatest thing ever. But going back to it, I think there's just, I mean, Diddy Kong's just the superior racer. This one, you need to have other people with you for it to be like really fun. I did a couple of like solo Grand Prix and stuff, and it was awesome. It was a lot of fun, but really, you just got to hold off the two AI that are basically tracked to you, because there is in this game. Each time you're playing a circuit, there are two main rivals in your 4 races, and that's all you got to do is hold those guys off, and you're good. You know what I mean? Yeah, you did get planes in Donkey Kong. You get hovercraft. You can pick different cars and things per race. So I mean, they were way ahead of the curve on that. Now, that's all Mario Kart is customizing your cars and stuff like that, and getting the right tools for the job. So it's like, I don't know. Rare was just, they were just seeing stuff that was incredible in the 90s. The Rare run in the 90s was crazy. There was like an 8-year period where they just could not lose, you know? Yeah, Crash Team as well. That's the thing. I mean, Crash was different, Like, yeah, all the games on this list are going to be awesome. But I don't know, man. Mario Kart 64 was just It was just great, and especially back in the day, it's just lost a little bit of its shine for me. Dude, the new Tetris, I'm gonna put that down here because it's a lot of fun. The new Tetris was different too. So I love a game that you can do the same thing as what it's based on, but it's also different enough where it feels like a different game without destroying it. And it's a delicate balance. But the new Tetris was a lot of fun. You have different ways to earn points. You could do combos and things like that. There were different game modes. Whereas Tetris is just super basic. You do the game, it's fun. The new Tetris is that plus other stuff. So I'm definitely putting it here. There's not a whole lot to it, but there was theming, there was the Zen music. It was just really nice. I liked it. I don't understand Tetris 99 at all. I have the game, but it makes no sense to me. I know you can mess up other people and stuff, and I don't know. I tried to play it, but I just never really got into it. This one, I thought if they remade this one, it would be super good, but like I said, I think it's more just relaxing than anything. It's Tetris. There's nothing really to it. But it's a lot of fun. This one, XG2, I think it was Extreme G2. I will probably put up here. I I don't know if I enjoy it more than Star Fox, but yeah, I think I do. Not more than Battle Tanks. Battle Tanks I can get into in multiple ways. This game was a fun multiplayer racer as well. You can shoot different weapons. You have these really quick tracks. This is a fun game to play. I love this one. There was a first one too that I never really got a chance to play, but I just can't imagine the first one being on par or any better than this one because it's like this was just very good. And it wasn't like Mario Kart 64 where you had like a set enemy that was attacking you the whole time or, kind of like challenging you. This one, you just raced. It felt like you were really racing people even when you weren't, you were just racing computers and stuff, but it was really fun, really challenging. The level design was great. As you progressed through the difficulties and levels and stuff, they changed. So like, the first couple levels there were some basic weapons and the rails were there and everything like that. And then as you go, like the courses actually change up. So the first course you play is a pretty straightforward circuit through like this city. But the level you can see where it changes. And so let's say you up the difficulty or you play like a larger circuit, you get back on that level to start with and the course is a little different in places. You might have to jump off a ramp and land on top of something or go in a tunnel or whatever. So it was just I haven't even explored most of this game because there's so much to it, but it's just such a fun racer. And I'm not a racing guy either. Like, I don't love the racing games, but I think it did a good job of combining what I liked about these games and racing games. So it worked pretty well. Mario World is awesome. I was talking about this yesterday on stream too. Um, it's, I think, the easiest out of the first 4 or 5 Mario side-scrolling kind of games, except maybe the first Mario. The first Mario Brothers is easy because there's not much to it. You just go. Mario World was easy because it felt like it kind of forgave you for mistakes you're making. It made you think a little more, which I like, with some of the secret exits and stuff like that. I thought that was really cool. And you get a lot of rewards for doing a lot of things. For a game that I did not grow up playing at all, man, it really caught my attention later on. So I want to put it pretty high since it's my own personal ranking. I think if we're talking about like of all time, it would be up here easy. But I don't love going back to play this game. I enjoy it, but it's not something I like die for. I'd probably put it like here. Yeah, above Battle Tanks. It's a great game, but it's not one that I'm like, man, I wish I had people to play that with. I wish I could go back and play it. Like, it's one that, like, if we get it together, that's awesome. It's a lot of fun. But the challenge of this game was incredible for the secrets and stuff like that. If you're playing straightforward, it's not as challenging as some of the other ones. And I love a challenge, but I don't like to be beaten down with it either. So it's a nice compromise of that, but yeah, it's awesome. It's a great game. I mean, can't really argue with that. Super Mario 3 is different. I think this game's incredible. And I'm going to put it right up here. I got thoroughly beat by this game the first time I played it, but it was a lot of fun. I think it's every time I look at it, I just can't get over how incredible this is for an NES game. I mean, you have the board. Like they made a board game essentially where you can pick different paths and stuff, but there's secrets built into the board. There's also just so many unique things you can do in here. The weapons and power-ups and stuff you get, the ways you can play the game and go through the levels. The incredible design of it and just the overall theming. I think it might be number 20 in this, but man, as a Mario game, it's amazing how like I didn't play this at all growing up either, and yet still Mario 3 was just mind-blowing when I saw it. I thought it was such a great entry into the franchise, and they did just so much stuff to it. Like it is full of everything you like about Mario games. The only difference I think is that there's a little bit of a hitbox issue. Outside of that, it's just so incredible. A lot of fun to play this one. And like I say, like if you're playing with somebody and you can see both your progresses and stuff on the boards, and it tells you what levels you've beaten, it tells you what path you're taking, and different, like especially if you're watching anything, speed runs or completion runs or whatever, it's just so amazing. It's hard not to appreciate everything that went into this, even if you don't like the game. It's like, how do you think of stuff like that? They really were innovative back in the day, and for the NES, that was an incredible looking game too. The first Mario Brothers, I mean, I don't know. I think I got to put it down here. It's one of my favorite Mario games for sure. But it's just like when I play it, it's just the same thing literally every time. There's just, it's the template essentially. And I love the game, but I think it stays down here. They just did it better. Every game after that felt like they did it better. I played it last night, beat it, and it felt fun to beat and rewarding to beat, but at the same time, it was kind of like, well, what else is there, Um, but on top of that, I think this game kind of puts all of that kind of in its place anyway. And I might put it up here, but I don't know exactly where yet because I really like Adventure Island 3. I think I'm going to put it here because that game was one I grew up playing and I just craved this game. And to this day, I could play it over and over again and have a great time with it. It's basically the same thing as Mario. You got to rescue somebody that is kidnapped and you have to platform your way to it. But there's a lot of different themes to the levels. Basically, back in the day, NES, Super Nintendo, and really the 64, it was the same thing. Like you had zones. It was always like, here's your lava levels. Here's your desert levels. Here's your water levels, And this game did it a little differently where they took worlds and they had certain themes. Like there was definitely an ice and cliff kind of level, but you could choose your path, which was awesome. You could have secrets and skips and stuff in the overworld as well as in the actual game itself. It rewarded you for looking around. There were unique like dinos to ride depending on what level you needed. So like ice was better with the blue one, red one's better for lava, purple's better for swimming, that kind of thing. You could fly in it. There was a lot of just unique ways to play, and you could play it differently every time you play it, choosing paths, all that stuff. It's just such a cool concept, and it's just a game that I cannot stop thinking about to this day. So it's up there for sure for me. Old Tetris, I'm going to put it down here. Not much to it. It's Tetris, but I played the hell out of this, and I still play it on the Switch. They've just brought it out on the Switch Virtual Console, and it's a lot of fun. I think more than anything, just the look of this game is one of the best to me for Tetris. It's that classic look, but not too classic where you can't really distinguish what's going on. The colors and the changing colors, I was a big fan of that. I like that a lot. But, it's Tetris. There's just one way to play it. Just go. And, I think the simplicity of it keeps it around for me. Because, I could throw in, this and play it a certain way and try to get a high score or, play the different game modes and stuff. But sometimes you just want to play the original Tetris, like, on the NES. And that's good. I know it wasn't the original. I know there was one made years before this, and it was black and white, and then they had the symbol one, and there's a lot of different origin stories for Tetris, but this one to me is like when Tetris became a real, like, solid all-around game. And so that's why I just kind of go back to this one, but that's where that is for me. GoldenEye's crazy, man. What a multiplayer hit. The battle mode is fantastic in this, but the solo player story, this game is a marvel for so many reasons, and I absolutely love it. I mean, it's got to go up here for me because I love James Bond. If, like, you're listening to a lot of the videos I record or have seen the other channel where I rank a lot of the movies and stuff like that, like, dude, I mean, I love it. It's just the time capsule aspect of it. You can go back and look at those movies and games and things like that and feel the time and see, like, styles and stuff, which I think is pretty cool. It's almost like watching history, but in a movie franchise, and it's been going so long that you can really see it change over time. I think the only thing that kind of equivalates to the longevity of this franchise is like Doctor Who, because that's the same deal. It's been going on for as long as, time has. And you can kind of see like how things evolved in film and style and everything like that. But, with the emphasis on location and, you get a little bit more substance with these. It brings a lot of my favorite things together. So I thought that was really cool. It was very mind-blowing at the time. It follows the story of GoldenEye very well, too, which I think is awesome because not a lot of these games very properly follow the story of the movie, whereas this one does, and it fills in a lot of the blanks, too, which I think is just masterful because a lot of games get that wrong also, where you just see, like, certain scenes, and they took a scene from the movie and stretched it into a whole level. And they did it so well where it didn't feel like it felt like you were making the behind the scenes to the movie, it again, like if you were watching this and a fan of the franchise, you really felt like you were doing the things he was doing. Typical problems for back in the day with this game, though. Unlimited enemies in a lot of places. That always drives me mad. It's like, look, if you're going to kill all the enemies in the area, you should kill all the enemies in the area. They shouldn't just constantly come in waves. It makes no sense. That's always something that I could not stand about some of these games. And really, I think the thing that keeps Tui down a little bit is the enemies respawn, and for nothing. You don't get extra health or any of that. G-Money, hello. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Always a pleasure, my friend. What up, Bubbles? Yeah, so, I don't know. It's pretty good. The only thing is secrets, right? Duke has a lot of secrets, and I love secrets. I love secret levels. I think GoldenEye's multiplayer was so good, and there were like different passageways you could take and things. The music was incredible. The problem with Duke 64, is they took a lot of stuff out of 3D just to save space on the cartridge. You could save on this, you couldn't save on that. So I don't know. GoldenEye just kind of slightly edges it for me. Rame, hello. How are you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Dude, ice hockey down here, but it's a classic, man. I love playing ice hockey. It's such a silly game. And you could pick like different lineups, which I thought was always really fun. It's on here just for the nostalgia's sake. And like, I do go back and mess around with it every now and then. It's pretty damn hard. Like, I didn't realize how hard it was playing against a computer. Playing against a real person, it's like, okay, I could play somebody that, is just having a good time. But man, the computer is designed to just beat you down in this game. It's fun. It's a very one-dimensional, silly kind of game. Very time capsule, very of the time. I think like a third of the countries in this game don't even exist anymore. They've changed names or, broken up or whatever. But like, it's just so funny because it's really, it's a time capsule, man. It's a good one to just get on. And I'm not like a huge hockey gamer either, but this old one is just so fun that I don't know. I've just enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, icing calls. You got the little animations in the middle of it. You just can't help but enjoy this one. Tecmo Bowl's kind of along that same line, but I have a lot more fun with this one, and I could play it more often. Also, it's just stupid how far advanced this game was. You could call different plays and things. I mean, and they actually did different plays. Like, it wasn't, obviously compared to now, it's not super advanced, but you got to think, like, they essentially coded in four different outcomes at least for each of the plays you'll run and like things like that. And it's just, I don't know, this blew my mind. They didn't have licensing to a lot of stuff, so it was kind of fun and silly in that as well, but it's a great game. It's a lot of fun to play against people, and playing the computer's tough, but not ice hockey tough. You can actually still win a game on this one. Dude, I got this Brick Breaker game. I don't even know what it's really called. I don't know what year or anything like this. I just remember in the early 90s, the first computer we had playing this all the time, and it was so great. Just such a simple, like, fun game. I think it's on par with Tetris, where the idea is simple. It didn't get too crazy. I don't love when these games get crazy. You can have like lasers coming out of your paddle, or these pills change into bombs or anything like that. Like, I just like to break some bricks. The maps change, the designs change, that kind of stuff. I think that's pretty fun, pretty straightforward, nothing too big or crazy. A game I grew up on for sure, and a game I've always looked back and thought, man, I wish I could play that again, but not with all this other extra stuff on it. And we're talking arcade games, though, dude. Galaga, my God. I got to put this up. I'm going to put it up here. I love Galaga. Like, that's my game. If we ever go to an arcade or something, or just happen to have a cartridge with Galaga on it, I will play this just until the controller breaks or we run out of money. Because, man, that game is so fun. And I've set high scores. Not the highest, like I'm never number one, but I'll be on like the top 10 pretty much anywhere I've gone recently that has Galaga. I went to an arcade, a little while ago, and just, I don't know, I could sit there for hours and play this thing. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of strategy to it. Bonus levels are always cool, and you get really rewarded for them. What I like about the bonus level specifically about Galaga is, like, you can have a nearly flawless run in the bonus level and get a good reward for it. But if you get like that one extra kill or the flawless run, it just exponentially rewards you for it. And I think that's really cool because not a lot of games do that. It's usually like, hey, here's a possible, 40 enemies to kill in the bonus stage, or collect these 10 things or whatever. And if you get 9, you almost get the bonus. If you get 10, you get the bonus, but it's not that much more. This, it really heavily rewards you. I think that might just be because it's an arcade style game, but definitely loved this one. I got Asteroid on here kind of as a joke, but also very serious, because I think you really got to respect what it did at the time. And I'm not going to put it above, well, I'll put it above Tetris, because it's so simple, and it's so, like, you just look at it and you go, okay, it is what it is. But man, it's pretty incredible for the time. And it's one, like, I think all of us could just throw it up real quick and just kind of mindlessly play it and have a good time, like in between stuff or whatever. But I really like this one. And again, you got to respect where it came from too. Cause yeah, there's a lot of new games. There's a lot of incredible things that we've done with gaming and technology and stuff. But man, I don't know. That to me, I could just throw this on right now and have a damn good time with it. There's a lot of weird stuff like that. Pac-Man, we just played Pac-Man yesterday. Yeah, dude, Houdini. I like that game. As a child, I loved it. I was fascinated with it. I've always liked space, and obviously it looks nothing like space. It's just a black background with a bunch of flying mushrooms. But it was fun to blow them up, and when you're a kid, you can really get, your imagination going. When you're an adult, it's nice to just kind of mess with it. So I think it works on both levels. A lot of these games I can go back and play again and feel like, hey, it didn't really lose anything. Some of the games I went back and played did lose something. But yeah, Pac-Man we just played yesterday. It's awesome. It's a lot of fun. It's not like my favorite though, so I'm probably gonna put it below Tetris. I mean, it's great, but I just, I like playing it. I don't love playing it. I think if my arcade game was Galaga, some people's arcade game was Pac-Man, and it is way better in the arcade than it is on console. I definitely notice that every time I play it. Like the responsiveness of the controller just is not the same as having, a freaking joystick in your hand or whatever, and you're just messing around with that thing. It does get, yeah, exactly. And like I especially yesterday, I was noticing a lot more where going back and forth or trying to change direction was just not right unless you're, like I say, like in the arcade playing with that hardware, because it's just, I don't know, it is one of those that you just kind of deal with a lot of the levels, and I don't like just dealing with it. I like to really enjoy it, but still a great game. A lot of respect for it. Centipede I like a lot. I'm gonna put that up here, man. I don't know if y'all ever played that in the arcade or on any kind of home console. I loved this one. This one was cool, and it had like, you know just things that would change the board in real time, which you don't have that with a lot of those arcade style games. When you have the spiders come through the centipede and they drop more like pieces that you have to shoot through and stuff like that, there was nothing like that on Pac-Man. There was nothing like that on Galaga, even, where the board would actively change while you were trying to finish your objective. So I thought that was really frustrating, but in the best possible way. I thought that was amazing. It was really cool to have a game that old and that responsive. We still have like a mini arcade version of this at my parents' house. It's just so stupid fun. I love that game. I love it a lot. Um, Age of Empires 2, the Kings and the Conqueror, you can load them all in. It's the DLCs, and I mean, to this day, they're still getting updates and things. Dude, this is one of my favorite games to play in general. I'm going to put it up here. It's just awesome. Like, it's a strategy game, but it's not too overloaded with stuff. I feel like a lot of times nowadays you get, like, just a lot of extra with Age of Empires. But also, especially with all the other strategy style games, they just put so much into them now, it gets a little overwhelming. And then sometimes you get a lot of stuff you don't really care about or don't want. Age of Empires is just straightforward. There's so many different map styles. You collect resources, you build a civilization, and you survive. It's just, I mean, it doesn't get better than that, really. It's so fun. And I'll play it tomorrow and have a great time with it. It's one that actually aged pretty well too. I think just the style of the game ages these kind of things a lot better. You're not looking for the graphics necessarily. You're not looking for how well you can move in a 3D space. It's just strategy, It's almost like having a board game but come to life. It's really awesome. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just one of the top tier strategy games you can have. Dude, Dr. Mario 64, specifically the 64 version, because it's like the new Tetris. It was Dr. Mario, but with extra ways to play and extra versus mode stuff. So I like Dr. Mario 64 a lot. I'm gonna put it right here. It's one I can always go back to and kind of reliably play, but there is a pretty one-dimensional style to it, just kind of like how Tetris is. I do find it better than Tetris because it's got a little added, like, something to it. You actually have a goal. Tetris, you just play until you don't play anymore. Whereas Dr. Mario, it's like you have to eliminate the viruses, or if you're against somebody, you can actively combo and drop pieces on the other player's board, which is such a cool thing you can do. Because I don't know how many other, like, I'm sure there's others, but I don't know how many others do it so well where you can actually disrupt the other player you're playing against in one of these old, arcade style games. I thought that was really cool. But yeah, Dr. Mario is just fantastic. Dude, I don't know if you guys have played Rampage World Tour, but man, what a fun game. It's so funny because I didn't appreciate this enough growing up, but it's really silly and really fun to mess around on. I'll probably put it like right here as well. There's not a whole lot to it. You just kind of go and get power-ups and points and destroy buildings and eat people, and you go on a rampage. It's a lot of fun. There's different settings and stuff. It's more of a 2D like side scroller kind of thing that has you know parts of 3D happening, but it's a lot of fun and just one of those mindless kind of enjoyable co-op or solo games. Bubbles just today. I think I noticed that a lot. But yeah, I love it. I love it, and I don't know where the cartridge is. I used to have it, and I don't know where it is. But I'd love to play it again on YouTube or stream. I had to put repo on there. Like we got to be fair, and if you're gonna get 1,000 hours of a game in a few months, it's like you gotta enjoy repo. It's objectively speaking, the developing studio that does it put a lot of care and effort into making this game a game you can play solo, which I think is something you don't have with a lot of games these days, especially like this, where you need a group of friends to make it enjoyable. And some people feel that way for sure, but there's definitely a big emphasis on being able to play the game solo. So even if nobody ever wanted to play this game again, I could play it solo till I die. And like that's such a cool thing with a game like this. I like that it's got different ways you can play too. I mean, I can speed run something. I can go for a high level. I can, do whatever I want in the game, and it kind of rewards you or hurts you for it. You can mod it, you can play with friends. It doesn't matter. Like it's just a great game. Um and it's weird because it's like there's no incredible story with it. It's just fun. And for me, that's just got to go high. I think I'm going to put it like up here. I can I don't know, like some of these I definitely have a lot more nostalgia and love for and everything like that, and I don't want that to cloud it too much. And I realize what repo is. It's not for everybody, of course. No, I mean no game is for everybody, but this game really you have to be into this style of game, and I just happen to really love this style of game, and it's just going to be up here probably at 21, just a high spot. Um we have a few games now. Dynasty Warriors 4 Empires, I liked a lot, and I played this a lot. It's more of a strategy game, but with the Dynasty Warriors feel. And this was kind of 4 or 5 were those two games before it got a little crazy and they just added a lot. And I hate when games start just adding stuff for the sake of adding stuff or changing stuff to make you feel like you're getting something new or, just getting a whole lot out of a game that they'd really kind of lazily just changed. So 4 and 5 was around that time where I really enjoyed playing these. 4 Empires was great because it was, like I say, the strategy, but also you could play the game. It is so unique in the fact that like you played essentially each battle like you were playing the regular game, but you also had that strategy element in it. I really like it. It's going to go up high because I don't know. I've never found a game like it that I enjoy. There's a lot of games that try to do that kind of thing, implement the strategy and the on the ground, but nobody marries the two together better than this game, I think. And even 5 Empires that came out later, it's just like it was missing something. So I don't know. I think that's going to chill up there. Dynasty Warriors 5, pretty easy right in the middle there. Great game, a lot of fun, but at that point, it's just kind of copy and paste. But the story I think was a little more emphasized in this one, and they tried to get it right compared to like lore and stuff. Telly, hello, love. Um, I love this game. I like that they change up the weapon systems and stuff in the games too. So even if you are playing like the same basic idea, it changes how you play it. So that was really nice. It kind of refreshed everything. Um, I feel that. I feel that. I do the same thing. I'll be listening to somebody. I did that yesterday, even probably for like 2 hours. I was sitting there, and then I'm like, I never even said hi yet. Oh my god! And how many memories, Arme, do we have of playing these games? Like it was just such a great game to play with people, such a great game to play solo. It's just like Repo though, in the idea of like, it's a game you can literally go back and You can play it solo forever if you wanted to. All right, Dynasty Warriors 4 is, I think, a little better. Probably put it up here. Um, yeah, yo, you remember they changed they changed a lot of the voice lines specifically in this game because Dynasty Warriors 3 had fairly weak voice acting, and then they really changed it around in 4. And as they kind of progressed, they made that more of a point because it was a little silly. But 4, they added a lot of characters in. They added a lot of storyline in. The interesting thing about 4 is if you played whatever character you wanted, you could basically play the story all the way through. 5 kind of capped you off where if you played a certain character, you had like 5 or 6 main stages specific to your story, which was interesting. But I loved this for leveling specifically, where you could just take a character and go all the way through all the stories. So even though it wasn't like lore accurate or anything like that, it was cool that there was this idea of what if, you know? And so that to me, 4 has always been my favorite, I think, out of all of the main lines. That's why 4 Empires is higher, because it feels like this game plus the strategy aspect. But I loved those games a lot. This is crazy, man. I think about this game constantly, and I wish it existed to this day in its former glory. But SOCOM 2 is just, I mean, that if you like a shooter game, that's about as good as it gets. The tactics, the story, everything about it was so awesome. Um, I had a great time playing this. The online, it was one of the first real like online shooters that was geared towards, you know, PvP and stuff like that. And it was so tactical. It was so great. SOCOM 2, see, 3 was good, but it really lost. It was more like SOCOM 3 felt more like a Call of Duty game. SOCOM 2, what I liked about it is you just didn't go out and shoot. You know, Respawn was added late to these games. So there was, you know, there was no reward for just going out and being a hero. Like you had to play as a team, and I loved that. That's why I really enjoy Valorant lately. Is like that's the closest thing I have to SOCOM since I've played it. Like, you know, I thought Call of Duty was my best replacement back in the day, and Call of Duty was fun for sure, but it's just not SOCOM. Dude, I don't know what the hell's up with my allergies today. It makes no sense. Go to sleep dry as a bone, wake up 5 hours later, and you just cannot stop your nose from running. I mean, the pressure's insane. I think out of all the Mario parties, Mario Party 2 is just by far and away the best. You know, it's obviously ugly to look at. You know, there's not a whole lot to it. The game modes are fun, but they, you know, lately, the last few Mario parties, it's just like, here's the same game again, but reskinned. And not just Mario Party, but I mean like the mini games. Like there's a lot of the mini games that are all just the same thing. You know, click this, hit that, climb that, whatever. When this game came out, it was all pretty new, and you know it was a huge improvement on Mario Party 1. Um, but man, this game was that was my favorite Mario Party. There's no doubt about it. I will keep it down here though. I think you know, it's a lot of fun to hang out and play it, but the problem is playing it by yourself. It's not like playing Repo by yourself or, you know, like one of these other games. If you play it by yourself, it's just not the same. Like you live to see your competition, you know, and whether you win or lose, like that struggle of doing the mini games against them, stealing a star, having a star stolen, like it just takes all of that out of the game. You know, a computer does it. It's like, who cares? You know, I'll just get them back or find a secret block or whatever. If your friend or family member does that to you, I mean, you might as well queue up a boxing match right there. It's crazy. So I don't know. There's a lot more feeling when you're playing with people than when you're not, of course. And that's just, you know, It just kind of takes it down for me because I have no interest in going back and playing this unless I was able to get people together to do it, and that's not happening ever. Dude, Kirby's Dream Course is great. A lot of fun. I'm gonna put it down here. It's a great game, but another one where like it's just great to play with somebody. And how often are we gonna ever get that together? There's a lot of improvements. Like golf with your friends is a lot of fun, kind of the same idea. But Kirby's Dream Course, I think, was just so unique and fun at the time, especially. And then the power ups and it's just a really cool way to play a game like this. I've never been super interested in golf games for the most part, and this is just it's so different, so unique, and always fun when you revisit it. I play it solo every now and then, and it's fun, but it just doesn't hit the same, of course. I don't know if you played this one, Gauntlet Dark Legacy. It was the port onto the consoles, GameCube, I think Xbox and PlayStation 2 of the arcade games. So this was interesting. Depending on what console or arcade you played this on, you were going to get a different game. Same kind of story all the way through, but different characters, different power-ups, different ways to play. So it's hard to judge it, based on what you've played. I've played a couple different versions of this one. I have the PlayStation 2 version now, and it was uniquely different from the GameCube version. I think the GameCube version was a little more superior because they actually gave you a way to switch weapons and stuff like that and hold weapons. The arcade did too, I believe, but the PlayStation for some reason didn't, so you had to just use whatever you got right away, which was weird to me. It's a fun game. It's a fun adventure, and it's good to collect and gain money in the game too, which I like that aspect a lot. I'm going to put it here above Battle Tanks. There's a lot more adventure games on this list that I like, a lot more story that I like, and then a lot more collector that I like. So this does everything pretty well, but nothing fantastic, I don't think, other than the leveling system. I do like the leveling and being able to level different characters. The only thing is, though, a lot of times when you level different characters, they give you some kind of like, oh, this is specifically why you're leveling this up to handle these situations. In this one, I mean, you could just kind of level anybody up and handle anything you wanted to. I do like improving people with like extra strength or, extra health or whatever. And that's always fun to do in these games, but it's hard to get that money for it. So it's a really rewarding thing, but by the time you do it, it's like the game's over. So, another classic that not a lot of people know is Motor Mayhem. Ah, man, what a lot of fun we all had playing this growing up. That was just a fantastic game full of memories. This one's not as bad solo because the story, it's not trying to make it some crazy like, oh yeah, save the day or whatever. It's basically just like you're in an arena, fight other people, fight other cars, whatever. I think this would do great online, but it has no online, of course. Awesome multiplayer game. A lot of fun, a lot of great times with this. Just put it right there for now. I think I'm pretty solid on where all these are. This might shift still, but like that might be number 100 right there for sure. I don't know, but this is Smash, specifically Melee. I like the original Super Smash, but Melee was just an improvement across the board. The way it looked, the way it played, it was on the newer console at the time. It felt way better in every way than the original Smash. And the original Smash was good, but I couldn't put it on the list too because this is the same thing but just better in every way. There are new game modes, of course. Like where the new Tetris felt like a whole different game with the same kind of feel as the old Tetris. This one was like it's literally the game, but just better in every way. So I don't know. I'm gonna put it up here because I was never a huge fan of the franchise. I didn't mind playing it, like I enjoyed playing it with friends, but it was never one that I'm like, I gotta enter a tournament or I gotta, play the hell out of this and unlock everything. It's just kind of fun, casually playing, and great to play with people. But it was never one that just really captured my attention the way some of these others did. In fact, I think because of that, I might put it down here. Because this one, all three of these, I actively wanted to play with people. This one, I was like, if we play it, that's awesome, and I'm happy to play it. I played countless hours back in the day, but it was never one that I was just like, we have to play this now, or I need to re-get this game. And I haven't got one since. Like, I've played Brawl, but I barely played that one. It became one of those, that's what Mario does. They just start adding and adding and adding stuff to their games. That's what Nintendo does with their games until it just becomes something so bloated. Like Epic does that a lot now too. This is Madden 07, man. Like, I like the Madden franchise. I don't love it, especially recently. It's just rinse and repeat. But back in the mid 2000s, the game had a lot of personality, and it was actually like a fun game, and you could immerse yourself in it, and it felt like, I'm going to put it up here, maybe actually above Shadow of the Empire even. Fun to play with people, fun to play by yourself. Like I said, I mean, it's just, especially growing up, fun to play and just immerse yourself in it. But they did everything right. It was like, usually what they do with these sports games is they take out something we love to make you want it again, and put in something you want to satisfy you with the game, and say, oh, well, we got that. And then they put in something you don't want so that you can talk about taking it out the next time. And that's how they make you buy them all the time, because there are roster updates now. Skyrim is next. So Madden 07 is a lot of fun, but Skyrim is a game that I don't know if you could ever play this all the way through and be done with literally everything. And they keep adding stuff to it. So a game that came out forever ago, but is still very relevant in my mind. And it's got to go up here. I don't know where, but it's one of my favorite games of all time, easy. And it's so funny because it still flies under my radar even though I play it all the time to this day. There's the survival mode in it too now, so I mean there's really something for everybody on this game. I like just being in that world. I think the world building is so good, and I love how there's like tales of lands that are not there and other games in the franchise, and it kind of connects a lot of stuff together. It tells a lot of different stories. You can choose your path. Like, I could go out there and just explore just wherever, whatever, and have nothing to do with the main story and still do a bunch of stuff, Like, and you can just kind of randomly walk into missions. That's what I really love about this game too. Outside of some of the mainline story quests, you could do side quests and stuff without even triggering them to start. So it's nice that you don't get, you don't get hurt for exploring, you get rewarded for it. Some of these games, if you don't trigger a quest or something in an area and you find the area, you do stuff in it, you can't finish it out, it resets, you go back, and you have to do it all over again. It's tedious. This one, it's like, hey, I found this area just randomly. Let me do the mission here. And then you just have a quest item that you can turn in one day. It's just cool. Also, the fact that the quest items don't actually have weight to them, I really love that about the game, because if there's something you can't drop from your inventory because you accidentally found it or whatever, you shouldn't be punished for that, And I think they have such a great balance of everything. The crafting, the enchanting, the potion making, all of it is so just basic but well done enough where it's important to the game, and then the game scales with you too. So you can't just build the best armor right away and just smash it. Like, the game scales with you. Like, obviously you're going to have a better time getting through it, but yeah, I don't know. That, to me, Skyrim's just up there. Like, I love GoldenEye and I love James Bond. But man, I don't know. Skyrim just does it for me. Um, Wind Waker. I'm not a huge Zelda fan at all. I actually couldn't care less about most Zelda games, and I find them super boring. Just not really for me. I don't know. I've never been into Zelda, but Wind Waker was just so eye catching and unique to the story as well. Something I love about the Zelda games is most of them are set in completely different times and have completely different like ways to progress through the stories and mechanics and stuff, which I think is awesome. This one was so unique and so many things you could do in it that was different. Plus, the art style was just awesome. Like my problem with the cartoony kind of games, um, especially with Nintendo, is like they try to. Star Fox is a prime example of this. It's like it's a game that tries to take itself very seriously, but also makes it look as unserious as possible. And I feel like a lot of the Zelda games were kind of like that at times. However, this one did it really well, where the whole theming is very cartoony, but very vibrant, very different. I just love the way it looked. It was such a just different thing at the time too. And I wasn't like a huge GameCube guy, but this made me want to play GameCube stuff, which I've never felt that about really any Zelda game. This is one of the only ones that I've been like, yo, that game is actually sick. I will put it right here. For a not Zelda guy that doesn't care one bit about Zelda games, that's pretty awesome. I tried to play a couple of the other ones on YouTube and just gave up within the first couple of minutes. I just was like, it's not even that it's hard or anything. It's just I don't enjoy that style of game, really, I guess is what it is. Um, yeah, what up, Tuggy? Dude, we're listing right now. I'm going to put this on both YouTube channels eventually, too, though, because I think it's been a pretty fun endeavor. Actually, speaking of which, Jet's the one who mentioned this list, and Jetstopia is an awesome, YouTube and Twitch guy who I have his stuff in the description here. But his channel's linked and tagged on YouTube. I'll probably put his Twitch thing in there as well. I don't know how well that'll link, but we'll try it. And yeah, he's just a great dude to hang out with. Zelda never really clicked for me either. It loved Link to the Past, but never got it. Yeah, and I think that's how a lot of people are if you're not a huge fan of the actual franchise. The cool thing about the Zelda games are they do vary it up so much that there's probably a game you'll like in the series. But as far as like the whole series goes, I just, it's never been one that I've been like dying for. In fact, every day I feel like I find out there's a new Zelda game and like one I haven't heard of at least, and I look at it and I'm like, oh, I can see why people like that, but I couldn't care less. This was the only one that I was like, that's really cool looking, and had to jump on it. Time Splitters 2 is an awesome game, man. Like that's a game that does not take itself too seriously. It's an absolute just classic game. The multiplayer was what I really loved about it. The story was awesome. It was fun going through it all. But yo, if you ever played the multiplayer, you could do like a map editor on this thing, and we used to do that all the time. Me and my friends would just map edit and play those games. There was this like virus mode too that I remember doing, and they really put a lot of thought and care into that and did stuff that I had not seen done in games ever until like Steam and Gmod and stuff like that. But yeah, this was awesome. It was a great game. I don't know if they're remaking it or something. I thought they might be doing something like that, but dude, if they do, I'm in on it because man, this game's fun. Like I say, just a great game to hang out with people. I personally enjoy it a lot, which I mean, the whole list is personal, so we know that. But yeah, I think it feels pretty decent right there. Modern Warfare 2, Call of Duty, the original Modern Warfare 2. I think they've made 3 Modern Warfare 2s now. I mean, they just have completely gone off the rails. I don't even know what the hell's going on in these games anymore. Basically, it's just zombies at this point for me in Call of Duties. But this game was actually great, and the story was incredible. Like, and I'm talking incredible as like, it was fun to play. The mechanics were great. It wasn't too over the top. The kill streak rewards were like really good and made sense. There was a lot of stuff you could do in the multiplayer and grind for certain things. There was a lot of fun you could have with people locally or online. I played all kinds of hours on Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. The story was great. Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's so funny. And that's exactly right. This was super controversial when it came out. Like one of the most controversial things in gaming history. But it survived that. And I mean, I know the franchise has been kind of watered down and, rinse and repeat since then. But this was just a huge improvement, I thought, which is crazy because Call of Duty Modern Warfare, I think the fourth one, um, in the franchise was so good and the story was good and everything about it was awesome, but they just totally made it better here, I think. And so I want to put that like right up here. I'm not a huge Call of Duty guy, but sliding is, I know. Yeah, well, they turned it into Apex recently, They basically like dynamic movement is just Apex with Call of Duty skin on top. Yeah, speaking of Modern Warfare, I'm going to just put it slightly lower because it's a great game also with a great story. And it feels different than Modern Warfare 2. Modern Warfare 2, I liked the multiplayer more, and I liked the story a lot more in this one. Call of Duty's originally started as basically like incredible stories with the option to play multiplayer. Let me refresh this real quick. I don't know why it keeps on dropping. There we go. Yeah, well, okay, so I liked Modern Warfare 3, but that's when it started getting a little too out there. Like I think Black Ops, the first one was the last one that I really loved. After that, there was like bits and pieces I liked about them, but it became another one of those games, kind of like Madden or whatever, where I I just do not love them just taking little things and adding them in and taking things out. It's like just improve the game, and I just never felt like there was a big overall improvement. You know what I mean? Mira, which one? Which one is that I haven't played? There's a few of those games that I love that I just haven't really played. It's so funny because like there's no time to do anything. There's a lot of games on this list I'd love to play more. But God, I don't know. I don't know if y'all have played this one, the Star Wars Bounty Hunter game. That was a great game. I liked it a lot. Didn't actually I'm gonna put it up above Doom because I thought it was a really fun shooter game. Peaked in Black Ops 2. A lot of people say that. That's not a super hot take, Like that was I liked Black Ops 2. I played it. That was the last one I played before the battle royales and stuff came out because I liked it a lot, but it just started getting a little too out there, a little too crazy for me. But yeah, I think a lot of people love those games. I like more of a straightforward shooter though. I don't like having all that extra in the game. And, they really started putting all kinds of crazy kill streaks and, it just became run at each other and see who lives versus like I like tactical SOCOM. Bounty Hunter was awesome. It was a lot of fun. The mechanics were weird. But it was like a complete game. And it was one that I always wanted to go back to, always wanted to play. There was not a whole lot to it. The story was different too, though. I mean, you don't ever really think about playing as bounty hunters or, what they got going on. There's a lot of fans of that part of Star Wars. And I was never like a super huge Star Wars fan either. But that being said, this game really caught my interest. And it was just fun playing with the blasters as opposed to, you know, any other. I mean, that's the thing about Star Wars. There's so many different ways you can play. You can play with the lightsaber, you can play with the blasters, you can play with the vehicles and stuff like that, a mix of both. A lot of different stories, a lot of different stuff going on in the universes. This I just thought was a really like dark take on, some of the games. A lot of times there's like I don't know, more lighthearted or family friendly Star Wars stuff, and I was never a huge fan of that. But Bounty Hunter kind of felt like it would pushed it a little farther. it did a little bit more with it. So I like this game a lot, but didn't play the hell out of it like I played a lot of these other ones. Um, Kirby Superstars Top 10. I don't even know if I've ever played that game. I played a few Kirby games, and I like the Kirby games a lot, but I definitely didn't get a whole lot of experience with them growing up. Ah, speaking of freaking Star Wars and vehicles and stuff, dude, Rogue Leader, I loved this. This was like Star Fox, but way better. I love this game, and it's one that I always think about playing nowadays, too. It's such a good, like, feeling game. There was just a lot of different cool ways. You can unlock all the different, like, vehicles and stuff, too. God, what a fun time it was playing that. I think it was GameCube. And man, GameCube had a lot of really good games on it, which is so funny because I never think of that system as like one of the best systems. Yet it had so many good games on it. So that might just be a flaw of me remembering things or whatever at the time. But man, I really, really like just the way it plays. So, so you get like these vehicle games, and sometimes they can be very clunky. This one, it gave you a good idea of what your mission and objective was. You could see things, which was nice. There wasn't like a whole lot of blur. It wasn't an ugly game. It was a very visually beautiful game. And you felt immersed in the battles. I mean, there's just nothing really better than this, I think, as far as Star Wars like vehicle combat kind of games. Um, Fire Red version for Pokemon. Basically, the first ever Game Boy game and Pokemon thing I ever had was the red version of Pokemon. And my brother had the blue version, and it was a lot of fun. Fire Red is the remake, so it's basically that, but better looking and better, more stuff in it, which I really liked about this one. So I put the remake in here because I mean it's like it's up here. I think I'm gonna put it like right there because it's one that I definitely want to play often. It's not very accessible, which I can't hold that against it, but I'd probably play it more if it was more accessible for me. Um, I like the idea of leveling and exploring and doing stuff. It still has that very Pokemon like linear feel in the story, which I don't love. I like being able to go do whatever you want. You kind of do whatever you want, but if you follow the story. So it's like level up, but only to this point. Otherwise, you can't control your Pokemon. That's just a Pokemon feature that I've never loved and thought was kind of ridiculous, but it's a way to kind of keep you in check so you don't just grind and then, okay, I can beat anything now. Um, it took out a lot of the glitches and kind of like the old, some would say, charm of the original game, but I just didn't like that it didn't work in a lot of places. Um, but yeah, I don't know. This game just is awesome. It has it all for me. And it doesn't get too complicated either. See, all the other generations of Pokemon make this game more complicated, stuff more things in there. And as much as I enjoy the way you play, I don't enjoy how I don't feel connected with a lot of the later generations, which I think is a big problem for me. Like I feel very connected to the ones I grew up with, of course, because I grew up with them. So if you put all this new stuff with me, it's just like, well, what do I care about any of these things? It's like trying to force you to play a game of a show that you don't care about at all. It's just like, well, what do I care if this character does this or that or whatever? If you loved the show, you would, but if you don't, you're kind of screwed. Never cared for Kirby back in the way. I enjoyed Forgotten Land a bit, though. Yeah, I don't know. Kirby, to me, was a very interesting one because it had such a unique mechanic compared to a lot of the other games of absorbing powers and stuff. And I loved Kirby in Smash. I loved Kirby in the Crystal Shards, but I never could get into any of the other Kirbys for some reason. And I don't know why. But that's the thing I love about like the Kirby style games versus, again, like Star Fox or something, or even a Zelda. It's like, Kirby was a game that was very cartoony, but also knew it was a very cartoony game and played that way. Whereas, a lot of the Zelda games and a lot, like Star Fox and even some of the Mario games, like it's very cartoony, but trying to take itself a little more seriously. And it's just like, I don't like that. It always feels really uncomfortable for me. This is Star Wars Rogue Squadron, which is a freaking classic. It's like Rogue Leader, but more primitive. They still did. It's hard to believe this is a 64 game because it looks so incredible for the 64, and it plays so well. I'm gonna put it like right up here because it's just on par with these games. I like the mission aspect to it. I like that you can have different vehicles in there. It's just so nice. It feels so good, especially with the old controller. It doesn't feel terrible playing it. There's some games that were just built for that kind of a 3D space, and a lot of the vehicle games were. You didn't have to really aim anything other than just you were already flying and you just aim with the stick, so it was perfect. What up, Listo? Good to see you. You put Sora in Brawl. That's considered a win for me, but I don't play it much either. Yo. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's the other interesting thing about the Smash games is like if you're not super into all of the games that are included, you can kind of learn about them through that game. So I thought that was pretty awesome. There was a lot of characters I never knew existed unless it wasn't, for that franchise, and so that was pretty cool. I don't know if you ever played Advance Wars, y'all. That's another little strategy game. I'm gonna put it down here. It's a great game for what it is. I like strategy games. There wasn't a ton to it, but you throw that in your Game Boy Advance, and it's just like hours of fun, road trips, all that kind of stuff. I've played it again recently. Pretty awesome. It's been very fun, and it ages kind of well. It's another one though that like it's a little cartoony, but also takes itself pretty seriously. So for me, that always kind of brings down the fun factor. It's just like, oh god, these guys, what are they doing? Um, yeah, I don't know. I like the game. It's fun for what it is, but I think you can play it with other people. I can't remember if you could. I think you can, but I never got a chance to. A lot of that old, Game Boy link cable stuff never really worked as properly as it should, so you can make PPs and stuff. Hey, let's go. I love Skyrim. Kessen's another one that not a lot of people have really heard of. It's a strategy game also. And I didn't really care which one you picked, 1, 2, 3, whatever. I played it. When I first played it, I was so disappointed because I thought it was going to be like Dynasty Warriors, where you have an army of people, you go in and you fight, but it was more of a strategy. You moved your armies and you picked who was going to lead who and what was going to level up and stuff like that. It's a great strategy game. I'm going to put it down here. One that I really enjoy and want to go back to, but definitely had more of an appreciation going through it later on versus earlier on. I was not a huge fan of I don't know, it wasn't false advertising because they called it a strategy game, but to me, a dumb kid that didn't think, it felt like it because I thought it was going to be, hand-to-hand combat stuff, not moving chess pieces essentially. But man, now I really appreciate the game a lot. Minecraft is one of my all-time favorites. It's going to go up high. I had to put that on the list. I mean, it's a game I can always go back to. It's a game you can mod. It's a game I'm obsessed with right now. But this is something I've always been fascinated with. It was a game that I was very hyped up for when I first saw it on like YouTube or, when it came out, and it lived up to the hype. Like not a lot of games live up to hype. And to me, I was super excited about this. Survival crafting games are one of my favorite genres, and I mean, it just totally lives up to it. I'm gonna put it like up here. Um, tons of hours in the game, and I don't know if it's even gonna go higher than this, but it's 100% a top 10 for me of all time. And like I say, just the amount of mods or things you can do to the game. A lot of people dock games for mods making the game better or worse or whatever. It's like, I don't care. It's the game. Like the mods wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the game. So like, I don't care if it makes it better or whatever. I see it as just the game itself, and I enjoy it no matter what. But I could play it vanilla and have a great time too, so it doesn't even matter. I don't know if you guys have heard of Mercenaries Playgrounds of Destruction. I got like 100 parts of that on this YouTube channel, and it's amazing what they did with this PlayStation 2. Because this game is huge. You can destroy the environment, the world, around you. Like, it's very destructible. There's different factions and missions and things like that. It gets a little repetitive towards the end if you need to do any leveling stuff. But I mean, there's just so many missions in it, and you can just kind of. It's another one where, like Skyrim, you can kind of go do things and capture objectives and stuff even without being told to, and it rewards you for that. I like the game. It's a little clunky at times. I met one of the people that worked on the game, and they were very proud of it and excited about it, and I think that's awesome because, sometimes studios just work on games for the sake of putting something out there, but they actually really enjoyed working on this game too. There's incredible voice actors in this game that did really high profile things. I was watching some friends play it recently. I love playing it, and it's a game I've always kind of been intrigued about. I went back and played it, like I said, on YouTube, and Vice City, man, what a freaking game this was. Man, it's a vibey Grand Theft Auto 2. Great music in it, great feel of the game. Definitely very dated, but man, it's a classic for sure. A game I could always go back and play and have a good time. I think it kept you kind of on track. This was before the Grand Theft Autos kind of gave you more of an open world feel. You have the open world you can drive around, but they have part of the levels locked off. You have to do the missions in order. You can explore stuff and get cars and things like that, but also it's kind of when they started moving forward to what they are now. But I just, just the vibes alone and everything like that, I'd probably put it right here in between the Call of Duties. It was just that time when, you could put something out and it would work pretty well, but if you put a little love into it, it would really work, and that game really worked for me. However, saying that, I think San Andreas, at the time, I liked Vice City more. But this game, I mean, just the dialogue is classic. To this day, this game is such a classic. It's one that I absolutely adored playing back in the day without even realizing it. And to this day, I love it and could play it over and over again. Yo, Golden, thank you for jumping in here with everybody. How was your stream? How are you feeling? Welcome in, guys. We're doing Jetstopia's 100 tier list. Really challenge. I just wanted to put 100 games together that I've played and think are the best games that I have ever played. So we're doing that. But welcome in, everybody. Make yourselves right at home. We're talking about San Andreas right now, and I just think it's so much better than Vice City, especially looking back at it now. I was more into the music in Vice City than anything because I loved the music, and some of my favorite bands were in this game, and kind of especially when I was younger, got me listening to more of that kind of music. San Andreas, man, I just have more of an appreciation every day for it. I'm going to put it up here. I'm going to put it up here at that spot, I think. Maybe 20, because I mean, they've vastly improved on it. I know I haven't really played any of the newer Grand Theft Autos, but I don't know. That's a classic game. Actually, I'm going to put it up here. The more I think about it, I might even put it here. Because Age of Empires I love. And I could play this any day. But man, this one, it's just the more you think about it, the more you love it. But yeah, I love San Andreas. I think it deserves to be just out of the top 10. Like I say, I mean, the story and the dialogue just do so much more for me than a lot of these other games. Thank you, Golden, for the redirect. I appreciate you very, very much. We're just doing that 100 games list. I hope you had a great stream, and I hope you're doing well. Civilization 3, specifically 3, because I didn't really get into the first couple, and then the ones after it I didn't really care for either. 3 felt like a different style of strategy. Age of Empires 2 was always one of my favorite strategy games. Civilization 3 was very good. I'll put it here at 41 because it's not my favorite strategy game, but it does things really well. And it's a little goofy at times, but, a fun kind of goofy. Ooh, Species Unknown. Yeah, yeah, that's right. How was all that? I hope it was fun. Was it really scary? Was it a scary game? Man, I woke up just I don't know, you can probably hear it, but my allergies for some reason are crazy. Like in the last 6 or 7 hours, I went from just being perfectly fine to a snotty mess. It's crazy. But I got through it. Yeah, hell yeah, Golden. I can't wait to watch some of that. I'm going to definitely go back and watch some of it because I wanted to see it real bad. I've never seen that game played, and I'd love to see it played by somebody I care about. So I want to watch you play it for sure. Um, are you guys playing that anytime soon again, or was it just kind of a one-off thing? One of the monsters created zombie. What the hell? Oh, yo, nice. I'm glad you got through it though. That's awesome. Um, so yeah, I mean, Civilization 3, like it's just a fun take on strategy stuff. This is more of like an army versus army. This is more like a literally just a life, bringing a chessboard to life kind of thing. But I liked the upgrades and the emphasis on the cities and how the cities were doing and the health of them, the health and happiness of the cities. That was my favorite aspect of the game more than any combat or strategy stuff. Also, building improvements was really fun. Didn't always make the most sense, but it was quite fun to get your like network together, which I think led to a lot of how I play Minecraft, where I like to connect a lot of stuff. You know, I'll ask if they want to play again another time. Okay, okay. Map seem really huge, but the same map right now. So every time. Oh, got you. Okay, yeah, that'll be really cool. I definitely like. I'm gonna go back and watch some of that too. But that's so sick. I was looking forward to that today actually. Um, Fire and Ice is next. This is a game I just found. Like it was on Switch Virtual Console. I recorded it for YouTube. It's a puzzle game, and man, outside of just, I mean, a lot of the older NES and Super Nintendo games had some fairly repetitive music. This is the worst thing about the game, the repetitive music. Everything else is brilliant about it. Like, story, whatever. Puzzles, so good and so fun and unique. There's not really a whole lot like it. I'm probably going to put it here for now. Um, it's a pretty one-dimensional type of game, but it was a puzzle game, and you get puzzles with it. Like, what do you expect? It's for what it does very well. Um, The Mummy Returns is a game that I was so frustrated with because it was so hard for me to play back in the day, and yet there's just something about it. I like had a dream about this game recently too. It's like I love Egyptian themed things, and of course, the Mummy and the Mummy Returns was so awesome. Like especially growing up, it was just great. Loved everything about it. This game, I don't know. I don't know where they are. Like I don't know why we don't have them anymore. I don't know where these games just disappeared to. It's weird how sometimes old games can just go away, but it was like I say, hard but fun and very rewarding when you did pass the levels. I don't there's so many other games that did it better, but just the theming and everything. I'm gonna put it right here next to Mercenaries because this one has its own unique kind of feel and personality. But more than anything, the world was just incredible and how open it was. This one had more personality than you knew what to do with, and I loved it. I loved it so much. Mike Tyson's Punch Out, what a classic. Probably put it. Yeah, I will put it here. It's a game I didn't love growing up, but I was always fascinated with, and a game I played again and enjoyed a lot. Kind of incredible what they were able to do with it. I mean, the combinations and things like that. The game had to remember different patterns and stuff. I don't know. It blew me away, really, how it was. Like I say, I was always just fascinated with the game. My dad loved it. It's a classic. It's just a great game. and it's amazing that it kind of holds up today. I mean, I watch people do speed runs of this thing still. It's just like, how is it even possible? You know, it's amazing what people can do and have found out with the game and everything like that. And I love that to this day people are still learning new things about it. But yeah, it was a marvel back in the day. I think kind of just barely outside of the 91 to 100 range. I think it's going to be 90 for me. Um, yeah, I gotta freaking mute every now and then to blow my nose. I don't know what the hell's going on with these allergies, dude. The original Spyro, especially the remake of the original Spyro. I mean, both of them hold up well, but this game is awesome. It's a collector game that I never had a chance to play any of the Spyro games growing up. So it really says a lot that this game has made such a huge impact on me. Just recording it for YouTube and messing around with it a little bit. This game is awesome, man. The original Spyro is so fun. I put it up above Mario World because it's got that open world feel where you can explore and just kind of go around and do different missions and things without having to worry about like something with the old Marios is you do one thing and then you move on to the next thing. And it was like that through Mario 64, maybe even Mario Sunshine. You just do more things, but sequentially. Whereas Spyro, you can go in and collect a bunch of stuff or not, finish a couple missions or not, and it was more emphasis on level exploration than anything else. And I love that about games. So I'm going to put it slightly above Mario World. Very good game. I love the Spyros. Uh, Even if they're really simple and don't have a lot of depth, the nostalgia and memories. Oh, yeah. Well, especially Telly. So, like, looking back at games and thinking not just about how much fun you had or anything like that, too. The nostalgia weighs in a lot, but also it's like, dude, some of these games just, I mean, how did they do what they did? I mean, I grew up around these games and it was amazing because, like, Punch Out came out around the same time we had, like, I mean, just pixels on the screen shooting a box. And that was a game. And then you have a whole ass guy getting, in a fight with another guy and combos and cutscenes and stuff. And it's like, how did these things come out at the same time? And then it just launches forward a whole different dimension. Everything, I always talk about this. The first few console generations, you always had some major innovation or step forward that changed the game. And then since the PlayStation 2, Xbox 360 era, everything's just been about how good the game looks, There's no major innovations outside of just how good it looks. And there might be a couple of key exceptions, but dude, for the most part, yeah, it's amazing. It's definitely hard to rate games and stuff, but I think that's actually important though too, Tally, because since it is such a subjective list, it's your own personal list. Like, if it just makes you feel something, that's what a game's supposed to do. Like, it's just one of those things where I think that weighs in heavy. There's a lot of games I like really am emotionally tied to and charged with, but don't have on this list for that reason. But yeah, just for games like I think about wanting to play all the time. I think it helped also doing this on YouTube, where I played a lot of these games on YouTube also. So there's more of a, hey, I'm playing it this day and age, and does it hold up? Is it something I want to go back and stream? Is it something I want to play again? Or was I just completely off and it's a terrible game? Because Gex 3 like that to me was, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, but like definitely one of those games where I thought the world of that game, and then I played it and I'm like, this is actually so disappointing. Um, you didn't enjoy Spyro? Yeah. Love the character design, but not enjoy a heavy the collecting one. See, and that's exactly why I get that you don't like it, because I love collecting games, and there's just something about making sure I collect everything. Even in Minecraft, I try to collect all the different resources. I try to set up a warehouse with everything on display because I just love collecting stuff. I don't know, that's always been my thing. But I could totally see not liking Spyro if you don't like the collectible aspect, for sure. What I do like about it is you get that dragonfly friend, that can point you in the direction of collectibles, because that's something that really bothers me about some of those games where they make you collect 1,000 things in each level. It's like, you know, I need to know how to find this stuff though. It shouldn't be just like a mystery the whole time. Like, yeah, there might be a couple of secret things, but okay, I've looked around for an hour. Where the hell is this thing? So it's nice they give you that guy to point you in the right direction. But yeah, I totally get that. The second Spyro, um, Ripto, man, what a game this was. Was it Ripto's Rage? I can't even remember the name of the game, which is funny because I think it is Ripto's Rage. But either way, same deal. I think it was a vast improvement on the game. But I don't want to move it up too high because same idea, same concept. There was a little bit of uniqueness to it, but overall, I was like, the game just has a little more to it. It's a little bit better. I really enjoy Spyro too. I can't wait to try the third one out. Um, yeah, I don't know. Dude, it's always been a game that I've wanted to play, and when I finally played it, it lived up to the hype. So that's another thing that I can really say this game did well, was live up to that hype. So just slightly above Spyro 1. Empire Earth is like Age of Empires, but just massive, massive. This game was so hard, but there was so much you could do and so many different eras you could progress through. Where Age of Empires 2, you had 4 different eras you could progress through. Empire Earth had like 20, maybe more. Yeah, I mean, you could go from, a caveman banging some sticks together to having satellites in space, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. But they were some long games, man. There was a lot more that I would like about this game if they just kind of toned some down or, made it a little more accessible. But it was a great game. I thought it was going to be like Age of Empires 2, but way better. But the simplicity of Age of Empires 2 is what makes it fun, I think. So this one's way more complicated. By the time I make any improvements, I'm getting just absolutely destroyed by other factions and stuff. So, there was also like a Star Wars game like this too, which I really enjoyed a lot, but didn't play it enough to put it on here, I think. This is Crash Bandicoot. Now, Crash is a great game. I think specifically this is the third one because Crash 3 is awesome. I'm not a huge fan of the Crash series, so I'm going to put it down here. I played through all 3 of them now from the original trilogy, and the first one was hard but fun. The second one was hard and just a little kind of confusing, and I got through it without even realizing I was getting through it. The third one I thought was just awesome. It's so easy compared to the first 2, but I actually really enjoy the third one a lot. It was very fun to play through, and it actually kind of wanted me to come back to it and play through collecting achievements and things with it also. So that was a new thing that I've never really experienced before, especially with these kind of games. But yeah, I'm just going to keep it down here. Super Mario Maker 2, it's on here just because, I mean, you can do whatever you want with it. I don't think as a game itself, you leave it up to just consumers to create the levels and the fun they have, which is unique and interesting, especially with Mario. But at the same time, it's kind of like that's really all there is to it. You're just searching for different levels to play. People have made kind of like story modes and playlists and stuff, but it doesn't hit the same as regular Mario games. I'm going to put it like here because it is cool. It's a cool concept. It's something I love, but it's pretty one-dimensional what you do. You just play Mario essentially. You go, okay, cool. Sonic. No, Sonic, I don't have enough experience or love for Sonic yet. And I thought about putting some Sonic games on here, but I'm like, I just, like, maybe next year, if we redo the list, we'll put it on there. But I don't know. It was just a game that I haven't even recorded it for YouTube yet. So we just did the stream of a few Sonic games. They were good, but also, like, they just kind of went by, Like, the Crash games, I felt like I had to really get into. Even Donkey Kong Country, it's like one that I could feel myself wanting to get better at. Sonic, it was just like it just happened or it didn't. I don't know, you know. So I've never been a Sonic fan in general, and I never played them growing up, and now getting into them now has been harder than getting into some of these other ones. Tell you what, dude, I give Phasmophobia a lot of credit. I really enjoy this game. Talk about a lot of hours playing a game, but it's just, this is the game for ghost hunting. Like a lot of other games have done it differently, or, people think have improved the game or whatever, but I don't know. I like this. I could play it any day and be pretty happy playing it for an hour or two. Um, I want to take out a lot of the. I've played the hell out of this game and kind of know what to expect, because even still, I get jump scared every now and then. But the first time, like if you're just a casual player, like take out streaming and YouTube and all that nonsense, if you just play this game for the first time, it is terrifying. It's a game where you go in, there's no music, you're literally just in a house or a school or a prison or whatever, and you don't know what's going to happen. That's the fear of the unknown in this game is crazy. So like I remember when I first started playing it and how it was a scary game that I really felt like, man, what is going to happen, The ghost could come out, the events, the hunts, especially what you don't know. So it's going to go after you in certain ways. I think it's really well done. I'm going to put it in between the Spyros because it is a pretty one-dimensional, like you just hunt the ghost, you get evidence, that kind of thing. I love that. I don't mind playing it over and over again. I think if you're a newer player and you're playing the game, you're going to enjoy it a lot. And then if you're pretty casual with it, it's kind of like, okay, well, I kind of get it. So I don't know how other people's replayability is with it, but for me, I don't know, I love it, and I think it just has to have a lot of respect for what it is. I love Phasmophobia a lot. Fallout 3 game that I loved growing up, but don't love as much anymore. Skyrim is kind of my Bethesda game, so Fallout 3 I'm probably gonna put like here. Fun to explore, fun that I grew up in the area that the map is based on. Pretty cool story actually, and pretty cool design. But I think for me, I just think Skyrim does everything this game does, but more in the style I like. I like the snow, I like the mountains, I like the remoteness, I like the Viking kind of thing. So to me, it's just a better version of this game. Although I love this game and I love the way you play it. So I don't know. It's just kind of right in the middle, and I think that's fair for that game. Then I got Minesweeper on here. I freaking love Minesweeper. Like, I don't know what it is about that stupid game, but when I was growing up, I didn't understand it at all. Like, not even a little bit. And I wanted to play it all the time, but it was so frustrating because I didn't understand it. And then I actually learned how to play the game, and it's a game. If you put that in front of me without me even thinking, I'll just start playing it. If I see it, I will open it up and just start playing it. When we were doing like our remote learning for our job, when we were all locked down and everything, I would just have this open, just kind of mindlessly playing it on the side and enjoying it. And, there's Minesweeper speed runs, there's different like boards you can play, custom boards, things like that, challenges with it. Like there's a lot more if you have played it than you realize there is to it, and it seems ridiculous, but I don't know. I love the game. Like I just couldn't stop thinking about it. So I put it on here. 7 Days to Die. It's funny cuz this game is very relevant now, but it's been out for like 11 years or something. So it's a game that's approaching retro status, even though it's like, that's the weirdest thing about modern games. They come out, a decade ago, but stay relevant for a decade or more. So it's like, yeah, technically, like time wise, it's getting to that retro stage, but it's not because it's still being played today and updated today. So I don't know. It's weird, but man, I love 7 Days to Die. I'm not going to put it higher than Phasmo or Spyro. because I think my survival crafting game is Minecraft. And as far as a game that I just cannot get bored with survival crafting, it's Minecraft. 7 days, I think you can do stuff, build stuff, play the game. And, we fall in and out of love with different playthroughs or servers or whatever. But I'm always happy to go back to 7 days when I'm in the mood for it. Mods kind of make the game, though. And I was talking about Minecraft being like, mods don't hurt my status with the game. I think some people kind of hold mods and making a game more fun with mods, against the game itself. 7 days, I don't really hold it against 7 days, but I mean, mods just change the game. Like, the base game is fun, but it's hard to play the base game without playing mods. Like, I can play vanilla Minecraft happily. I can play modded Minecraft happily. Actually, Telly, we got to do some of those modded survival quest line Minecrafts. I think you'd like those a lot. I wanna play some of those with you at some point, but 7 days is kind of the same. They just cannot. For me, 7 days just can't get the story. Like, it's one of those survival crafting in general just kind of shoehorn stories in. They just say, hey, there's a thing you got to go out there and quest for. All of this happened because of this. It's like, oh, well, whatever. There's a virus or, an alien crashed on the planet or whatever. I don't care. It just doesn't matter to me at all. And they just keep kind of forcing different stories on you. And it's just like, who cares? Hardcore fans of it, I get it, like I totally get it. 7 days is awesome, but it's fantastic, We're playing on older versions so we don't have fireflies. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, Telly. Okay, I got you. Well, that's cool. We can get the big fireflies. Yeah, that sucks. I was gonna say because the fireflies are sick, but that makes sense if we're on an older version. Okay. Um. Huh. Let's see. What do we have in here? 9. Yeah, 9, 8 up there, 7 here. Max Payne. I love this game, man. What a dark, gritty kind of game. I loved this one growing up. I am probably going to put it above Vice City because the character is a very standout character, kind of like Tommy Vercetti was a character, Like, you really remember these guys. And this story was just too damn good. What's up, Joe? How you doing? Speaking of Minecraft, look at this Minecraft king over here. Yeah, that's good. Oh, Telly, but I'm excited. I do want to play like what's it called? Like the Crash Landing or like Skyblock or something with you. That'd be a lot of fun, I feel like. Actually, Skyblock I think we'd really, really enjoy, Went on a 2-hour hunt and then decided to Google it. Oh, wow. God, just missed it too. That's crazy. Yeah, because that's the whole reason I was looking for a swamp was for that and for slime. We got to find some slime, man. I don't have any of that stuff. John, I'm doing good. We're more than halfway through this tier list, and I'm feeling pretty good. We'll probably reorganize a few of these later on, but I'm feeling pretty good about this. Oh, dude, Skyblock is... I think Telly would love Skyblock, too, because you just have to make something out of nothing. And there's like a quest progression, and, you just go through... Like, it's so rewarding to make that stuff. I love Skyblock. We definitely should do one sometime. But yeah, Max Payne, what a great story. I know they've remade it and put other ones in there, but it's like, that was the story. This one on the PlayStation 2 was the story, So good. I love it. Yeah, I'm down to play any of those Minecraft modes, though, Sean. Like, dude, anything. I'm down to do any of that. Minecraft is my game. I love it. Halo 1, y'all. Man, what a banger. The only thing is the remake feels a little dated even at this point. So, obviously Combat Evolved started a whole wave of a new style of game. It launched the Xbox console, like, legitimately. It's super good, super fun, awesome story. I absolutely love what they did with it. But I'm going to put it down here for now because I had fun with it. But I think Halo 2 is just so much better all around. I think that Payday 2 is just Payday 2. Wow. Telly, I'm reading your comment. Halo 2 is so much better. And the story, the cutscenes, everything just has me blown away. I'm going to put it up here for now. Actually, no, I'm going to put it up here even higher, way higher. Because just thinking about it, like it was almost like watching a movie. They had different perspectives, they have different stories going on. It all intertwines. It looks good, it plays good. I really, really like Halo 2 a lot. Yeah, Payday's fun. But you know, the thing about Payday for me is it just missed the list because Payday's a game I like playing with people more than I just like playing it myself, you know? And that to me is a big thing when it comes to these games. Like, I love playing it with Dump. I can't wait to play it with you. Um, there's a few missions I love and a few missions I can take or leave, you know? So it's a game where I very much enjoy it, but I almost enjoy the company more than the game itself, you know? Not the company that makes it, but like the company of the people I'm hanging out with. Yeah, the well. Look at that. Every time I see or read something, it gets stuck in my head like that. So I said Payday 2 instead of Halo 2. That's pretty damn funny. That's funny. Um, we got Simpsons Hit and Run. And if you guys have played this, you know it's a classic. Man, I love Hit and Run. I played this without even realizing what I was doing. That's a lot of fun. I'm probably going to put it right here between Modern Warfare and Fallout. Because it is a pretty like one-dimensional game when you think about it. You just basically do the missions. There are crazy speed runs of this game, a few collectibles, stuff like that. Um, but yeah, I love this game. I have a lot of fond memories of it. It's a game I go back to play and have a good time with. I think it's hilarious because a lot of times you'll get these like, hey, it's a game based on South Park does this really well too, but games that are based on the shows and just it's like, hey, this is a skin of a show, but it's not really the same vibe. This feels like the show. So the immersion of this game is very good, and I love that. I love, you know, especially growing up, The Simpsons was awesome, and so the game being awesome too helped a lot. No, I love that, Telly. I like it because I mean the thought that's the whole reason to do this live is like I like to pull out the thought process of these games too. I mean there were definitely some games that didn't make the list, but I just could not I don't know. I just could not justify some compared to others. Like I say, Payday's a game that I just have had no interest to go back to play unless it was with somebody, you know? And I'm not like that. You know me. I'm not like that with any game, really. So that just kind of says a lot, you know? Like, I could play any of these games solo for the most part and have a good time. But I don't know, man. Like, when you're playing with people, it's such a great time. And when you're not, it's just kind of like, eh. Stanley Parable. I'm going to put it down here, not because it's a bad game. Well, none of these games are bad games, but I mean, you're basically just choosing things to do in the game and a little bit of exploration, but it's just so unique and so cool. Plus, all the different endings. I mean, I am not like an achievement guy at all, but I could not stop playing this and could not stop trying to get the different endings and stuff because it was just interesting. It's almost like collecting different endings and stuff. It's a game people should experience. If you have a chance to play it or experience it, it's really cool. I don't know. It's hard to really put your finger on, but it's also such a great reference to real life as well without it being too in your face. Because I don't like when games are very pretentious like that and they try to like force feed lessons or morality or whatever down your throat. Whereas this one, it's just kind of like tongue in cheek, throws it your way, but not too sharp, you know? So I like that. 100 games seems like so much until you have to pick and choose. Yeah, I'll tell you, it was interesting because there are a lot of games that I'll play a lot and a lot of games I've experienced and a lot of games I'm interested in or think I like and then you just take a step back and look at it, you're like, "You know what? Did I really like that?" I don't know. The other thing too, Telly, is you've played so many more games than me. Like that's a big thing about this list. A lot of 64 era games, a few new ones, a lot of NES, games, but in between they're just I missed so many games and I'm kind of just working through it. This is why I think this list is very interesting too because as I play more games every year on YouTube and Twitch and like go back and play certain like Sonic, Crash, all this stuff, Spyro I never experienced. It's kind of like, okay, well, now I can add those into the rankings and see where they fit. I mean, because Minesweeper, for instance, being on here, like if I'm looking at it, there's not really anything to it. Like it's just a pass the time game, but for some reason, that's a game I can always enjoy and always play. And it is a game, and I know it's primitive, but it's a puzzle. It's like I like puzzles. I like stuff like that. So it's weird the kind of things you can kind of come up with. And I just look at like what I can just consistently play and enjoy without it being like, okay, I played this, I'm done. In fact, this Super Mario Brothers 1 is the only one I really put on here, like based on nostalgia wise, more than anything. Because, like, I mean, if we're talking about a game that's pretty repetitive and I could just, play in my sleep or whatever, we played it yesterday and beat it again, but it's like, there's not a ton to it. It's almost like the Minesweeper of the Mario world where, you just kind of play the game as straight up as you can. Mario 3 was incredible. They did all kinds of stuff. I don't think yeah, I don't know. I really like the old Mario games because they were all so different. They all brought something to the table. That's the thing, Sean. You've also played a ton of games. Also, thank you for that game, Sean. I remembered. I don't get notifications about games when I'm gifted for some reason. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you for that. While I remember, I just got it actually, like in the last couple of hours or when I don't know. You probably got the email whenever I got it and finally saw it. But yeah, no, that's huge, and I appreciate that. Well, that's me with anything. Friend requests and games for some reason. I have no idea why. I don't get notifications about that, but I'll get notifications about a party hat I get in Golf with Friends or something. It's like, hey, that thing that you told me I got in the game, thanks Steam for also telling me I got that. Would Apex based on how it used. Yeah, okay. And I thought about Apex too. Yeah. So Apex, the problem with Apex right now is that it does not exist in that form. It literally, if it existed still, I would put Apex on there. But since Arenas doesn't exist and the game has changed so wildly from what it used to be, like, I'm not going to go back to Crash and say the game is like completely different than it was when it came out. Apex, when I first started playing it, was a straightforward, movement and shooter battle royale. There were some abilities. It was fun. And then they had the arena mode where it's 3 versus 3. And that's all there is to it. They took out arenas, which destroyed a majority of why I loved the game. And the ranking and, the way you play the game is so different now that it's just, if they brought all that stuff back this year, next year, it would make my list no problem, because that's the game. That's like what I enjoy about it. But taking all that stuff out, I could not go back to that game right now and say honestly that I'm having a good time, Now, it would definitely make the list, like I said, if, they kind of reverted a few changes back, put arenas in, all that kind of stuff. I would love that. Helldivers 2, I played a good amount of that when it came out. And I know they've added a lot of stuff to the game since I played, but I don't know, to me, it just was never my thing. I don't know, like I enjoy it, but I have a hard time knowing what's going on in that game. After playing many, playthroughs of certain missions and things like that, I still just have a tough time. I've played it with different groups of people too, and it's not a people thing. It's just that game is fun. It's just not my enjoyable kind of fun. The time, I think if it wasn't timed missions, I'd really enjoy it a lot more. Yeah, I don't know. Helldivers was a cool concept, and I enjoyed a little bit of it, but it just never really hit me hard. Man, the Apex thing is such a good point, though. because I mean I loved Apex when it came out. Same with Fortnite though. That's another one of those games too. I loved Fortnite when it came out, but when people actively change the game, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Call of Duty and it reminds me of Madden. Because Madden '07 was about as peak as a sports game could get for me. But you're not going to see any of the other Maddens on it, but those are different games also, right? Like they actually come out with new games. Whereas Apex is like if you took Madden '07 and said, hey, it's not going to be, you can't play offense anymore. You can only play defense. Like that would destroy the game for me, of course. And that's kind of what Apex did. It's like, hey, you can't play this major game mode that people love anymore. You just can't do it. I think Tetris being the top 10. I love Tetris so much. I love Tetris so much. I got two different versions of Tetris on here. However, I like Dr. Mario a little more. So I got Dr. Mario 64 a little higher up right here. But yeah, I don't know. To me, like I say, Minecraft being up here, GoldenEye, Skyrim, Adventure Island 3, Duke 64, any of the Banjos, Mario 64. These are games that I like. They do something to me that I don't get from anything else. And Repo, you could argue maybe I have a little of that drive to do better and always be more and have more and stuff. But I think you could tell me, hey, play Minecraft. And I'll be like, yeah, let's play Minecraft. You could tell me play Duke Nukem 64. And I'm like, where the hell is that 64? I'm going to put that thing in right now. You know what I mean? I don't know if I get that from a lot of other games. So that's why this top 10 is pretty goated for me. Tetris, I would enjoy playing Tetris, but I don't know if I could play it any time, any day. Kirby and the Crystal Shards, man. I like this game a lot. I have it on cartridge. They did a good job of pulling Kirby into a kind of 3D space without it being like a complete disaster. Because I know a lot of these kind of games coming off the Super Nintendo or the NES, and you bring them into the 3D world, it was like, what the hell are we doing? This one was great, though. I'm probably going to put it down here above Dream Course. Because Dream Course is fun, but it's definitely fun with people. This is a more solo adventure type of game. That's a lot of fun. But I'm not a huge Kirby guy. I just thought these couple were very, very good. Tetris being top 10 because I think it's the reason for why I like things to align and snap. Yeah, okay. Yeah, and that makes sense. That's a lot. I mean, that makes a lot of sense, because I could equate that to like, collecting and secrets. Like these games I grew up with. And so collecting stuff and secrets are like what I love about games a lot of times. Just finding that little bit of extra, or, hey, you get rewarded for looking around and exploring. So I can totally see like, hey, things fitting into the right place and getting rewarded for that. That same kind of deal. Final Fantasy 11. This is the online one, right? I have spent months playing this game online. It was more of a social thing for me than anything because you had to play with other people, you had to interact. So it kind of breaks my rule a little bit where like I could play it solo, but I'd much rather play it the way the game was kind of intended. And I can play it that way. Like there are servers with this game still. Classic. I enjoy this game no matter what. If it wasn't such a pain in the ass to get like all of the stuff running and everything, like I'd be playing this all the time, especially on classic servers. But one, I just don't want to pay for something else. You have to pay monthly to play it, and two, like it is a lot to re-authenticate and get back into and do. But this game was, I mean, memories. This was so much of what I loved about games. I'm gonna put it pretty high because I really, really like this one. Uh Probably right behind SOCOM 2. Because SOCOM 2 was just get on and play the game. Um this one you had to play with people, you had to have that social aspect, all that kind of stuff. I really like this game, man. And it was such an incredible game at the time. It was one of the first games that was like both of these, like online, you had to get the adapters to play online on the PlayStation 2, but it was just so good. And I really, really enjoyed that. Yeah, Joe, it's Lethal Company's great, but Repo just does everything Lethal does better in my opinion. So I just don't add Lethal on here. I do love Lethal Company a lot, but I mean, I can play Repo straight up vanilla. And what I love about it is there's no, like, I don't have a lot of patience for just waiting around. And man, Lethal Company's biggest problem for me is there's so much just waiting around in that game. You load in, you're in the ship. Then you have to pick what moon you're landing at. You load into that moon. Then you land at that moon. So you load into the actual ground. Then you have to run into the building and then run back out, search for the stuff. That's part of the game I enjoy, this searching, extracting, surviving. Then load into space again and do that 3 times in a row until, okay, we have our quota met. Now we have to chart ourselves, load into the company, land the company, sell everything. It's just so many processes that just don't need to happen. And you need mods to shorten all that stuff. So, yeah, Repo, it's just like, exactly, you start a new game and you're playing the game. Like, you don't have to load in, you don't have to do any of that stuff. The shop and loading into the next level sequence is like 2 minutes max, So, I love that. I love that so much. And that's just my big thing about that. Yeah, Final Fantasy 11, like I say, I mean, it does go against the fact that I can't really play it right now, but that's more just me being lazy than being able to play it. And they brought out 14, which was like, to a lot of people, a better version, but I didn't like it as much because I liked the social aspect. I liked that I had to have 5 other people, you know, leveling up with me and going on quests and raids and things like that. I liked the atmosphere and the levels themselves and the different places because there was a lot of different scenes. It took like a lot of care and love to develop the world. And there was some places in this game where you could just sit around and vibe out. So good. I agree completely. Lethal Company was a great template. I mean, that was the extraction game that kind of launched that genre, really. I mean, people have done it before, but Lethal Company made it very much accessible and fun with people and stuff like that. But I think that's the thing. Like, you need other people to make that game fun. Otherwise, you're doing a lot of work. And you know what the other thing that really bothers me about Lethal? Repo, you can always get enough money on each level. Even if you break all the items, you can still farm orbs. And, technically there's a way you might not be able to if you break everything, but you always have a chance to extract with money. Lethal Company, after like 12 days on the job, it's almost impossible to do it. You can't really extract. So, I don't know. Yeah, Joe, I don't know. I was shocked that I had played more than 100 games. And I've played a few more than 100, but like you'd be surprised if you just, count anything you've played and done. But yeah, there's a lot of games that didn't actually make the list. And there's a few that like probably could make the list next year. So I don't know. We'll see. Jet does one every year, so I might do one every year also. This is the original Battlefront 2. Um, this game's awesome. I loved everything about this. This would be a fantastic game today if they made it exactly the way they made it before. They remade Battlefront 2 and Battlefront, and it just was not the same thing. This one was so fun. Another one of those early online ones. I'm going to put it like here, probably. Yeah, better than Call of Duty 4. But, it was, essentially you just played it online. But a great game. I really, really enjoyed Battlefront 2 a lot back in the day. They did a lot of different things. It felt like you were actually in a Star Wars battle, which I really enjoyed a lot. Like, that was something I really valued in those games. I don't love the idea of, and a lot of games do this. You start out, how many games? You start out like a war game or something like that. And it's like you and a bunch of your soldier friends and you're moving through the lines and stuff like that. And then the next level, you're just by yourself and you're just one man army. I hate those kind of games. I don't like when shit like that happens. It drives me crazy. Battlefront 2, I really like because, you're with an army the whole time. You felt like you're really in a battle. I just don't, I don't love the idea of one man armying it. Unless it's like a James Bond or a Duke Nukem, because that's the whole premise of the game. It is one dude versus the world. I know what to expect. I'm going in thinking that. If I go in thinking like, hey, I got a whole bunch of buddies with me, and then I don't, it's like, what the hell is this? Oh my God, a worst games tier? I'd totally be into doing that. Yeah. Yeah. If there's like a, top games I'll never play again. Yeah, Dark Souls would be on there. Man, there's a few games that I just cannot stand. And it sucks because, like, Donkey Kong wouldn't make the list because I actually enjoy playing that game, even though it's the most frustrating game I've probably played recently. But like Dual Heroes, have y'all, like, that was a game that we bought back in the day, and it's one of the worst rated Nintendo 64 games, and I cannot stand it to this day. I thought it was really cool when it first came out, and then even when I was younger, did not enjoy it. There's an F1 game or a NASCAR game too, two of those, an F1 game and a NASCAR game on the 64 that I just don't like at all, racing wise. Yeah, that would be interesting. There's a few NES games too that I've played that I'm like, I couldn't care less about this. Yeah. What's interesting? A game I have a lot of nostalgia for is Mischief Makers, but I couldn't pass Day at the Races ever, and so I couldn't put that on the top 100. Yeah, oh, for sure, Tally. It might be like a top 10, never play again, or something like that. Top 15, who knows? Valorant. It's funny. I like Valorant because it's like the closest thing to SOCOM we have. That and Counter-Strike. Like, I'd probably love Counter-Strike because I like the tactical aspect. I don't like running in and dying. I think I'd really like Counter-Strike, Slap Elden Ring on there. Yeah, I couldn't even imagine. And you know what the pissed off thing for me about Elden Ring is when I saw it, I was like, is Elden Ring like new Skyrim? Is this going to be awesome? No, it's like Dark Souls with this, better looking overworld on it. And it pisses me off that it's like that because, even though I don't play it, it's so fun. Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of that. If they brought back SOCOM 2 this day, I would play the hell out of it, Top 20 games you'd never want to play again. I'll tell you, I'm going to write that down right now because I think that's such a good idea. Put it on one nut. Where is it? There it is. Okay. Yeah, because that's a really good idea. There might be some surprises, like games I don't hate, but just have no reason to go back to, I mean, because I'm thinking about Halo 1, like, Combat Evolved was fun, it was awesome, but why would I ever go back and play it again? I have no reason to ever play it again unless it's, like, part of a challenge, Like Halo 2, I could see myself playing again, possibly, but I just don't know why I would ever go back and play Halo 1. Like, I got the story, it's like watching a movie. Do I have to watch it again? Probably not. I might want to, but I played Gears of War and I did not love it. I thought Gears of War was going to be very much like Call of Duty at the time. And I was so much more into Call of Duty than when I played Gears of War. And Gears of War just was so clunky. I did not enjoy that game at all. Yeah, Telly, that's a good one too that I'm going to put on there. Also, I don't know why the File Explorer came up. That's not what I wanted to push. There we go. One nut. Yeah, that's a good one. I've watched some people play the new Gears of War too. The funny thing about Gears of War games is that it's just like the exact same game. I mean, it looks the same, it plays the same, but like they just bring it to the future, I guess, bring it to the present, whatever. I'd say it's worth skipping to Gears of War 3. Yeah, I don't remember which one I played, but I played one on the 360. And I just, it's so funny because I had a lot of friends that were super into it. So I played it for them. I was always somebody that, like, if you guys like the game, I will play it with you. even if I don't love it, just because I want that kind of in return a little bit, where like, hey, you might not like a game, but if you play that with me every now and then, we can make both of our game days come to life or whatever. Um, so they played Call of Duty even though they didn't love that. I played Gears of War even though I didn't love that. We all ended up just having a good time with each other anyway, so it was whatever. But yeah, I was never a Gears of War guy. Jet Force Gemini, a game that I actually thought was really stupid when it first came out, and man, nothing but loved or learned to love it and appreciate it since then. I mean, Rare was just pumping out units, just great games back in the day. And I'm going to put it right above Gauntlet here because this game, I don't know. Like I say, I just cannot believe how much better it was. Usually I go back to a game, especially in the 64 era, and I'm like, boy, I really remember this game great, and I don't love it as much as I thought I would. Yet this game just is amazing. Like, I love it. I don't know. It's gotten better with age, I think. It's amazing the way they, just put all of that into a game back in the day. I mean, there's so much to it. It's so fast paced for a 64 shooter. And it works really well. Obviously the camera kind of sucks and the aiming is like, you got to really get used to it. But at the time, especially when all and I think this is a huge thing that a lot of people overlook, especially when you used to play 64 games and now we play like, if we have a controller, it's got the 2 sticks and all that stuff. If all is the 64 controller back in the day and you get to using those controls, like you have no problem with it because that's all you know. But now comparing it to like how we play games today, obviously it feels so much worse than it did before. And for that game to stand up over time, despite, the camera and the stick and all that stuff feeling worse, it's just like, whatever, Yeah. Oh my God. The Rare Replay. I've never seen a bundle of games that is just so many bangers. Like the every game in there was awesome. I mean, they had the craziest thing about the Rare studio was that they competed against themselves and all won. They had 3 different games being developed at the same time, and all of them were like top 10 hits, greatest hits. And then they also had a run in the 90s where it completely overshadowed everything they did before, right? So Rare was making games for, a decade beforehand, right? And just absolutely crushing it. But then they had a run of games that just completely overshadowed all of those great games. And it's the only time I've ever seen anything like that, especially this day and age. This day and age, a development studio makes a great game and then that's it. Maybe they'll make another one here or there, but they really just have their one game they're working on. Yeah, back then it was just like banger after banger. Perfect Dark is another one. I never really played Perfect Dark, but that's another one that was really, really good. Yeah, the Rare Replay is awesome. Shrek Super Slam. Yeah, there's a lot of those funny games, just a lot of those random things. I mean, they could literally do whatever they wanted to back in the day and just make a game that was fun. But that's the thing. It's just make a fun game, Like, how hard is that? Make it fun to play and not just a good game to look at. Because, man, I tell you what, they emphasized graphics so hard in the PlayStation 2 and 3 era. Better graphics. It looks better. These games are going to be, looking a whole lot better. And yeah, some of them played and looked better, but some of them relied solely on how the game looked. And I can't stand that because I don't care if it looks really good, but plays terribly, or is not fun or whatever. So, dude, Portal's a classic. I love puzzle games. I love Portal. Portal, I think, is up here, probably above Fallout even for me. I love this game. I think it's so clever. I think it's like a game that has weaved its way into, just cultural relevance and stuff, with a lot of different games having, like Easter eggs about Portal. There's like memes around it. There's all kinds of stuff. It's one of those quotable games. It's just a fascinating way to play. They've taken the portal gun and made it weapons in other games and stuff. So this whole thing was super cool and super fun, and I love it. Mario Kart Double Dash, yeah, hell yeah. GameCube had, I mean, a lot more than I realized games that I enjoyed playing growing up. It's so funny because I always overlook GameCube, but I'm like, I don't know. Bounty Hunter was fun. I don't know. Brawl was the better Smash or Melee, whichever. I think it was Melee, yeah, not Brawl. Um, just a few games on there that were like really, really cool, and I enjoyed quite a bit. But yeah, I don't know, it always gets overlooked for, I guess, because it wasn't ever my system. I just played other people's GameCubes. Um, Believe it or not, guys, I got to put Enter the Gecko on here. Gex, Enter the Gecko. I think there's a lot of stuff in this game that's really fun, really unique. It's a silly game. I think that what they do well is humor. Um, and really, if we're talking about the 64 era, the camera's it's just, there's no excuse for this one. It's inexcusable because it came out after Mario 64 and had a worse camera. At 2 years after Mario 60, at least 1 or 2 years after 64, and has a worse camera. It makes no sense. But I do think this game, even though it doesn't hold up as well, when I go back and play this one, it's obviously rage inducing. It's obviously frustrating, but I get pretty far with it, and I get farther every time. And I do have a lot of moments of enjoying the game a lot. I can't say that about Gex 3, and that was the thing I was talking to earlier. Like, Gex 3 came out after Gex Enter the Gecko, of course, yet the camera was still just as bad. The levels looked exactly the same. There was a couple of variations. The game had kind of more, but also less to it at the same time. It's a game where I'm like, it just feels like the Lost Levels in Mario, where you're like, I don't need this. However, this one is just so interesting to me. And I'm going to probably put it like, I think right around here. Like, Mercenaries is awesome. I love Mercenaries. And it's a pretty straightforward, polished game, but you are just kind of doing the same thing over and over again. Whereas Gex, there's no polish to it. You just play it. It's outrageous. You do whatever you want. But I mean, you got to give them credit. They have some funny one-liners, and they don't feel as... This is the other weird thing. They definitely have repetitive one-liners in this game and things like that drive me kind of crazy. But man, playing the first Gex, it was just an absolute overabundance of noise. I was in the overworld after moving on to the next level, and you have the sound of the level opening up. You have Gex's voice line. You have the background music going all at the same time. And it's like, dude, what is going on in this game? Whereas this one, it's like, okay, you got the background music. He puts a one-liner out every now and then. I was also playing the first Gex, and it was just like the same voice line 5 times in a row on a level I was getting destroyed in. So I was like, dude, I cannot stand this. We're just making noise to make noise. And then Gex 3, for some reason, does the same damn thing where they just start making noise to make noise. And it drives me crazy. Yeah, you should do that. I would do that for sure. I don't have enough games, I think, in that category for me to do it. I could maybe do like a top 5 or 10 in each category, but I think you could do tons of games, and just absolutely go crazy with it. It's a fun concept. I love doing this kind of stuff. Burnout? Ooh, I don't know if I've even heard of. I'm going to look Burnout out. What? I'm going to look up Burnout right now. Burnout symptoms. Yeah, okay. Okay. Are you talking about the first one? There's a few of them, actually. Man, to me, what's so funny? I almost put Midnight Club on here because I liked that game, but just looking back, I'm like, I don't know if I liked it enough, though. I have Ocarina of Time on here, and like I say, I'm not a Zelda guy, and it's not going to go super, super high. As a game, it's incredible. Like, they did a great job with it. It's awesome, whatever. I like Wind Waker more though, and I played this game, but I didn't have the desire to just, smash it out like a lot of people do. Um, yeah, I don't know. This game, I almost didn't even put it on the list because I'm like, do I love it? And I would say I kind of do love it. I'm probably gonna put it like probably right here because I think this is a very playable game and a very fun game if you're into it, especially. And like, I kind of enjoyed the open world feel. It still feels pretty linear despite being such a big open world kind of feel. Um, Great story though. Something that I will always love and respect about this game is how just twisty and turny this story was. And they did a good job of that. I think they've been trying to, and a lot of people that love Zelda games will say, hey, they've definitely recaptured the magic of this, or they've done that, or whatever. But like with this one, I think that's where you peak when it comes to story wise. And Wind Waker, I just like the environment. I like the feel. I like that it doesn't take itself too seriously. I think a lot of the Zelda games also take themselves way too seriously. And I have not a whole lot of interest in any of the other ones, but this one for me has always kind of stuck around. And it might be one that I actually go back to playing, where like the other ones I don't really ever want to play or go back to. Um, it's also any game. If it's a game, I mean I got Minesweeper on here. I got freaking Asteroid. Like if it's a game, it can make the list, you know what I mean? So hell yeah. Burnout 2. Okay. Burnout 2 is the best. Yeah, see that's the interesting thing about a lot of games back in the day too. You don't usually see sequels that are better than like XG2 is way better than the first one, I think. I think Vigilante 8 2 is a little better than the first one. Yeah, I like I love those games, and I love that they took the game that was good and improved it. You know what I mean? Um, Mario 2 is interesting. It's a game I absolutely hated when it first came out. Um, and or when I first got it, I it probably came out around the time I was born, or maybe a little before that. But I hated the game when I first played it. I thought it was so different and so weird, and I could not do anything about the game. I didn't understand any of the mechanics with it. But it's really grown on me. I like this game. I think it's weird in the best ways. I think it's got an interesting story to it. I think it was a very innovative game. And I don't know. I'm going to put it like here, I think, because I actively want to go back to Crash 3. I'm not a huge, like, I could go back to Mario 2 and be fine with it, but, it's not like Mario 3 or World where I could definitely go back and play. Definitely not like 64. 64 I could play any day and be happy. Um, but yeah, I think this is a good game. I quite enjoy it. Super Mario Sunshine, I think, just kind of barely makes the list for me. I uh I like the game. I liked it a lot. I like the concept. I like that there is this level of I can like clean stuff and see a tangible difference. It was like Pressure Wash Simulator before Pressure Wash Sim. And it's just so glitchy, though. There's so many problems with this game. But, outside of that, I think it kind of combines some of the best aspects of 64 and polishes them. But it doesn't have that same kind of like feel that 64 had while trying to do the same kind of thing. So I don't know. I mean, Sunshine was a good game, and I could definitely go back and play it and be happy to play it. But like I say, just a little rough around the edges in places. This is Armored Core 3. Now, that's a game I actively think about often. I love this game. And I'm going to put it right up here because it's just such a cool concept. You create these like robot guys, you upgrade them, you put different weapons on them, you do different missions and stuff. I wish it was a more destructible world, though. It almost feels like you're in a maze if you're in like cities and stuff. That's the one thing I don't love about this franchise is they just focus on solely the combat and upgrade of the mechs, but just not like anything environmental wise. Usually just get some blurry skybox background, dust blowing, post apocalyptic kind of thing. And none of the buildings are destructible usually. So it's just kind of like, the environment could use something, but it's a great game. I love it. Mario 64. Yeah, I don't know. I used to hate Mario 64. Like, I liked the look of it and the idea of it, but I did not ever love it until now. And now, every time I play it, I just am absolutely blown away by it. I don't know. And, like, I've obviously, like, 120 starred it and everything like that a couple of times. And both times I'm like, man, I kind of want to go back and do it again. And that's just something I don't get from a lot of games. I could understand it. It's so frustrating. And the frustration aspect of that game is definitely a turnoff for sure. It always was for me for a while. So I totally get that. Oh my God. Telly's the kind of person, it's so funny. She'll have a game mechanic that she's actively like working on and getting better at without realizing she's getting better at it until she just like does it and then masters it and is like, oh, I'm doing the thing. And for me, Mario 64 is one of those games where I could actively work on mechanics and still be just not able to do them. And so I could understand 100% how frustrating that is. Pod Racer. See, I played that game in the store and on one of those like displays. I just could never get into it. I was not a racing guy for the most part, and the fact that there was like no weapons and stuff also bothered me. I also didn't love any of the prequel Star Wars for the most part, so it just never really clicked with me. He had a locomotive. Yo, let's go, G Money, with the freaking dad jokes. I love your dad jokes. Dr. Mario, I am going to take nostalgia out of this and just put it probably right behind 64 objectively. Dr. Mario 64, I think, is Dr. Mario, but with more game modes and stuff. Dr. Mario, I think, plays better on the NES and is a lot easier to look at too because the colors are softer. It doesn't really burn as much. But this game, I have fond memories. It's one of my favorite games to go back and play. Growing up, this was always just something I begged my parents to play with me. They loved playing it too, so that was cool. But like, man, this game is just too awesome. I really enjoy it. Like I say, I think 64 was just an improvement on some of the game modes. Added extra stuff in. They added a story mode, which was weird, but it was fun. Played apart from South Park. Yeah, see, I played really more 64 games than I even realized. Like, I have a pile of the games here, but as I went through the list of all the 64 games that existed, I'm like, man, I played a lot of these too, without actually realizing how many I played. Yeah, Diddy Kong's up here. Diddy Kong is fantastic. I love that game. That is a game that it's a racing game that you can go back and play because of like the story mode, there's not a lot of other games like racing games like that. So I think that's really awesome. Speaking of Bomberman, Telly, I got Bomberman Hero on here, man. That game was a lot of fun. I remember renting this game and just being obsessed with it. Bomberman Hero is such a unique, interesting game, and it looked really good too on the 64. I think the art was so perfect for that console. I'm going to put it above Civ here because I love this game, and I'll go back to it and play it and just really enjoy it. It's definitely going to be played on the YouTube soon, but man, I love this game. It is quite a bit of fun. And it's funny because we got a couple of top spots left. The bottom is filling up pretty damn fast, and I think I feel pretty good about where things are at the bottom. But the Getaway, I don't know if y'all have ever played this. It was one of those like kind of weird games, but it really, I think the immersion and the storytelling was pretty good in it. Like it felt like you were in the movie, which is unique because a lot of those games don't. It was hard. It was weird. I'm going to probably put it right down here because I enjoy playing it. I enjoy going back to it. every now and then when I can, but it's not one that I was like crazy about. Just solid all the way through. You know, the gunfighting was pretty good in it. Felt a lot more I don't know, interesting to me than anything. Chroma, hello, how you doing? Good to see you. A lot more cinematic than anything too. I really like that about this game. Call of Duty Black Ops, tons of time played on this one. Tons of time spent on this one. I love it. And at the time, there was Modern Warfare 4, there was World at War, there was Modern Warfare 2, there was Black Ops 1. All of those games felt like a little improvement upon each other. And I really liked Black Ops because they added some interesting things in there while also toning down some of the, more modern stuff. It felt a little like back in the day, but not to the point where it felt out of touch back in the day. I think I'm going to put it higher than Modern Warfare 2, just barely. Sit at like spot 40 or so. Because it played really well, and I had hours of fun with friends. They were still cranking out pretty good storylines too, Yeah, exactly. The campaign, like they really emphasized those back in the day. And they stopped doing that for some reason, but man, it's just so good. I mean, now what is the campaign nowadays? I mean, it's like Resident Evil, but Call of Duty, and it's so stupid. This was actually like stuff happened. It was awesome. I don't know. I really enjoyed Black Ops 1. Yeah, exactly. The multiplayer was really good, and the kill streaks too. Like the next couple of Call of Duties after this one, they started adding so many kill streaks and different ways you could, have the kill streaks like added in and involved. And I didn't like that. I liked just having a menu you choose from and you just go from there. Like that was it. Call of Duty World at War is a classic. This one was before you had a lot of different kill streaks. You just had the 3 kill streaks. They were unique, they were good, and they made you work for them. Zombies. I think this was the first game that had zombies mode on it too. Classic. World at War was awesome. I go back and forth on this, just slightly lower than Modern Warfare 2. I think I like it better than the Modern Warfare, but not as good as Modern Warfare 2, just slightly. World at War was just a dark game, and it was very much focused on the atmosphere versus just the gunfighting, And I really respect that a lot. Yeah, totally. Yeah, Modern Warfare 3 is when they started to lose me a little bit in the Call of Duty. I still liked that one. I liked it a lot, but it started getting a little too crazy. The virus mode was good, and I talked about that earlier, but I loved that mode in Modern Warfare 3. Or the Infected, whatever it was called. I don't know. Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2 was my favorite one. I don't really care about fighting games too much, but I loved that they added this like overworld board game kind of explore the territory, make your own story path kind of thing with this too. The leveling up was fun. The way you play the game, I just loved. Like I played the first one, the third one, I played the second one obviously, and the second one was the one that I just really resonated with. I liked it a lot. I would probably put it, man, maybe up here even, just for the immersion factor of it, especially growing up. Like, that was really cool to feel like you were in the world or whatever. I'm not a huge fighting game guy, but I think that they added all that extra stuff in there and, like, the capsules and the fact that it had that board game aspect to it, too. Just put so much more substance in the game than just beating the hell out of each other, Yeah, exactly. Modern Warfare 3. That's the one where it felt like, okay, this is just another Call of Duty. There was something special about all these, right? Like, the first few Call of Duties, it was such great stories. Then World at War, it was like that atmosphere of it. They really captured it. Modern Warfare 2 was so controversial, but also just so good at doing everything, where the story was good, but then the multiplayer was like pretty much where you want your multiplayer to be. And then Black Ops 1 was like, hey, let's take all that and simultaneously dial it back while turning up other aspects in the best way possible. They just had it down, This Pokemon Ruby version, that was the only other Pokemon game that I really loved. Fire Red, the remake of the Red version, was awesome. And Red version was like my favorite Pokemon game for the most part. Ruby was that plus all the other things that I liked about the game with more, you know? So you could always go back to other towns. You could capture more Pokemon and stuff. Gen 3 is where I started not caring about them though. So Gen 2, I was kind of into it still. Gen 3, I was like, all right, what are we doing? The detail on the Pokemon started getting less and less. I don't know if you've noticed, but like the first few generations, the first two generations, for the most part, it was like take an animal, add an element to it, and then design the animal around that. There was detail. You could tell like what it was. And then generation 3, you started losing a lot of that detail. You basically had, okay, here's animation that doesn't seem like it's done. There were Pokemon that was like a sphere with a couple of ridges on it, and it's like, hey, that's your, whatever this guy is, or that's this thing. And then the next few generations, they really just got super lazy with it and just made whatever, because before where it was like, hey, in nature, this creature took on these powers, it turned into any object you could find. We're going to make a Pokemon on it. Here's a lamp. Here's a ring of keys. Here's an ice cream cone. It's like, and I know that's ridiculous and kind of cute in ways and funny and whatever, but it is lazy to me, and I think this is just before it really got bad. Um, I don't know. Where do we put this one though? Because I do like Fire Red quite a bit. And Fire Red's up here. This has more. I think Fire Red does a good job though. I think this came out after Ruby version too. So it had a lot of extra stuff in it. I kind of want to put it like here and then just move this down and Fallout 3 down a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. Fire Red that's one I could go back and play all the time. Ruby version I like, and there was a lot to it, but I don't know. Fire Red's just the game for me. Soldier of Fortune, a game I feel like nobody's ever heard of for some reason, but it was a lot of fun, and I really liked the way that it was just so over the top with it wasn't gory per se, but it was like there was a lot of intense gunfights and stuff. Yeah, Soldier of Fortune was awesome. That was a great multiplayer too. Golden, thank you for everything. Thank you for that redirect, and thank you for hanging out here. I appreciate that a lot. Good to see you. I like this game. I thought it was quite a bit of fun. I left off a couple of these older games, like Armorines. I thought about putting on here, but I just couldn't put it on. Yeah, that's the one. I think Soldier of Fortune 2 is the one I'm specifically thinking of. But what a great game. Like, I would probably put it in between like a Max Payne and a Vice City. The story on this game, it felt so cinematic, and I loved the slow down time feature. Vice City is, a classic. I love it, but I think San Andreas is just so much better. Soldier of Fortune, I think, sits right here pretty well, pretty easily. Dude, Saints Row 2, man. That's like comparable to San Andreas. I loved Saints Row 2. And I think I'm going to bump San Andreas up here and put Saints Row 2 right behind it. Because they're kind of on par with each other. There was a lot of unique things you could do. A lot of people think Saints Row 2 was better. I know the franchise kind of killed itself off with how bad a lot of the decision making was and the design was. Definitely a studio that just took a name and made a different game and slapped the name on it and said, hey, this is it. Kind of like how Banjo Nuts and Bolts went, Just make a new game and put the characters you like on it. Doesn't make it fun. Doesn't make it that game. It could have been good on its own, but, Saints Row 2 is excellent. I just love the storytelling and the feel. They really captured like the feel of life with this game. I think San Andreas wasn't too over the top, too crazy. Whereas Saints Row 2 is almost bordering that fantastical aspect of gaming. I love San Andreas, though. That's got to be up there, and this has to stay down here, I think. Final Fantasy X, I'm not a huge Final Fantasy guy either. Just like Zelda franchise, I was never huge into the Final Fantasy games. 10, I loved. I played a lot, and I liked the leveling system. I liked the skill tree. I don't like when games try to take themselves too seriously while also looking ridiculous, though, and I feel like Final Fantasy X kind of does that. Oh my god, I don't know. Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. It was GTA's goofy cousin for sure, and it was you could just do a whole lot more customization in Saints Row 2 also, which I really liked a lot. Um, but I really liked those two games quite a bit, and they're very interchangeable for me. Yeah, Final Fantasy X. Like I said, I just wasn't super into the Final Fantasy games. I'm probably gonna put it right behind, which is insane. I know The Mummy Returns, because The Mummy Returns technically people don't think that's a good game. I don't really care though, because it's just a subjective list. And Final Fantasy X, like I could go back and play, but I don't know. I'd be cringing at a lot of it, I think. Whereas I'd be laughing and cringing at this because it doesn't take itself as seriously as I think Final Fantasy takes itself. And I know people love the Final Fantasy games. I like watching the remakes, the 7 and some of that stuff and some of those older games, but it's hard for me to really enjoy playing any of them like I enjoyed this one. 11 I really enjoyed. Like that game, it just there was no dialogue in it, you just I mean there was like obviously text and stuff, but it wasn't like it didn't feel like it took itself way too seriously. It was just play the game, you're immersed in the world now, and that was awesome. Apart from online, yeah, 14 I liked, but I didn't love like 11. 11 just overshadowed anything else I could ever do in a Final Fantasy game for me. 10 was the only one that ever kind of kept up. Dude, Turok 2, I think this is Seeds of Evil. Fun game, awesome style of game. I never really got super into it though, because I don't know, for me the game was pretty hard, but also I couldn't actually save the game. But now I have a way where I can save the game and play the game, so it's been a lot more fun going through it. And I can really appreciate the game. It's a great game. I love the adventure aspect. I love the world building, It's very simple, basic world building, but it's like you still feel like you're in the world. I do enjoy Turok 2 a lot. And I'll probably bump this and Repo up more and put Turok 2 back here, I think. And probably put Halo 2 above Turok 2. A lot of 2s here. Look at that. Time Splitters 2, Budokai 2, the second Spyro, Halo 2, and Turok 2. That's crazy. But that goes to show you there's a lot of games that really improved on the original versions and stuff. And I think that's it. Back in the day, you could really do that. I think you could take those games and because everybody was learning, the Nintendo 64 era, especially, and like the PlayStation 2 era, you would put out a game and learn from that and see what the hardware was capable of and then bring it up even farther. So I think that before you get to like, these newer generations of consoles and games, you put out kind of your best work and then it's like, well, how do you improve on that? This was like, oh, I see where we can improve on that. And let's do it, So I love that there's a lot of sequels on here more than anything. And if we're talking about great storylines, I know we were talking about Call of Duty and how they had great stories. Dude, Medal of Honor Frontlines, talk about a good story. Taking history and adapting it into a game, which is just crazy because what I really love about this is it got me excited about learning history. And not a whole lot of games really did that for me. So I'm putting that right here. Probably... Yeah, I'll probably put it right here. I don't love it as a game as much as I like these, but I am happy to put it over these because I think it's got the best storyline out of any of these war kind of games. Medal of Honors were so good. They were so damn good with their storylines. And even at the time when, you had games that had the multiplayer aspect, I didn't care about it. I just wanted to play the story so much on this game. And it was always a big favorite of mine when it came to that genre specifically. Yeah, Medal of Honor. I mean, what a freaking time capsule. Those games were incredible. This is Rune Viking Warlord, a game a lot of people have not heard of either. And this to me is up here, like without a doubt. I have no problem putting it up here. It's one of my favorite games to go back to. It's very rough around the edges. It's very much like Skyrim before Skyrim, but I thought it was cool. I quote it all the time, which is insane. And I love, I don't know, I love feeling like you just felt very much like you were immersed in the game. This is kind of like how I envision people that play God of War feel when they play that game. Because I've never played a God of War game, but this feels kind of like that. Like this guy that just kind of takes on the world, and he's just, there were so many parts of this game that I thought were so amazing at the time. And to this day, I'm like, man, that's a really cool game. So I love this one. If you have a chance to play it, try it. You might enjoy it. Block Fortress. I don't know if I've ever played that. No, that's cool. Yeah, I got to check that out because I've heard of it, but I've never played it myself. No, I never had the capability to play a lot of mobile games, and I missed out on a lot of stuff like that. But it's interesting that there's ways to play those kind of things now and reviving them. This is Mortal Kombat. I think it was like, I don't know which one it's Armageddon, but I don't know if that was four, whichever one it was in the line. I thought this is about where you peaked with Mortal Kombat. And again, I'm not a fighting game guy. I like the Mortal Kombat games, but I don't love a whole lot of them. This one I love. I mean, it had a lot more to it than just fighting as well. And, it had that story. It had like all kinds of other stuff. Like it felt really good to play. I don't want to put it down here. I'm probably going to put it a little higher. So I think we'll move that down, and then fine with putting Final Fantasy down here, and probably putting it like, yeah, right here. Cause it's like a game where you kind of want to play it with buddies. It's kind of like, but you could play it solo. I could play these games solo, even though they're like kind of fighting versus games or whatever. Stories are decent on them enough where they're pretty chill, but I think we go through the list now and just see if anything else needs to move or change. I'm happy with where a lot of these are sitting right now. It's interesting to me. I didn't think Ice Hockey was going to be dead last here on the list at number 100 because I love that game and I have a lot of fond memories, but I just cannot put it above anything else, I don't think. Like, I get a lot more enjoyment out of a lot of other games. You can't really play this one solo as much, So that's interesting. Best one that it lost its uniqueness. Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of times, especially these days, sequels are just that. Like, it's just an extra version of that game. That's why I think a lot of studios focus more on DLC now than anything else, because it's like, we're not going to recapture the magic of the first one or be able to change the first one, but let's, add to that. And I think that's a way better way to go nowadays than anything else, because a whole new game is great, but it's, as a consumer of games, I know that there's a lot riding on a new game, and it's so easy to flop. And then especially with how social media is now, you just get torn apart for trying stuff, which I don't fault studios, musicians, anybody for just trying stuff. Innovation is great, but it sucks that you're always held to one standard or compared to something. You're almost better off nowadays working as a studio on a game and then switching the name of your studio up and working on a new game. That way it's not compared to the original studio's game. You know what I mean? Like, it's tough to compare that kind of thing. They're doing a lot of that now, Joe. I don't know if you've seen it, but like a lot of developers now are coming out with the feel and look of retro games, but they play like modern games. There's a lot of that on Steam now. I think there's a whole category you can search now that's like that, which is pretty cool and a lot of fun because I love that where again, you don't focus on the polish as much as you focus on how fun the game actually is. Um yeah, I'm happy with this. These are some of my favorite games, just classics I can go back to. I think this might be too high. It's a fighting game. I like that the other aspects of it are in there, but I think it's too high. I got to put it below. Right here is fine. Hello? There you go. Yeah, Medal of Honor goes a little higher. I'm pretty good with everything else here. Repo feels good there. Because like I say, I just love the game. I can always go back and play it. I enjoy it. It's weird that it's up here, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, there's not a whole lot to the game, but I think that's what I like about it. It doesn't try to be a whole lot. It's just, it is the game. You know, sitting next to a Marvel, a beautiful game like Rogue Leader, but Rogue Leader for me, you know, you have a story that you play and you just play that story, but once you know the story, it's like, okay, that's good. I can always go back and play it, but this is, I feel like it's just kind of like, it's different every time for me. Um, Definitely good with these. Oh, I love Age of Empires so much. Actually, you know what? I'm putting Age of Empires up here and Rune can go down. Because this game, I mean, I love strategy, and that's just a huge strategy game for me. Um, Minecraft is up here. Tui and Kazooie were the ones I thought I was going to fight over. I don't know, dude. And then Adventure Island is always one of my favorite games. Skyrim, I think, deserves to be up here. That's a game I want to live in. Like when people ask, what game would you live in? I would live in Skyrim. GoldenEye being one of my favorite games of all time, as well as one of my favorite like movies of all time. And again, huge props to this studio. Rare making music that is faithful to the franchise while also being completely new. As somebody who plays and makes music, you know, I can respect that and appreciate it. As somebody who loves the movies, I love how faithful the game was to the actual movie. It was like playing a game of the exact movie, and I don't ever see that with movie adaptation games or game adaptations of movies. And then also they took like frames and just series or sequences in the movie and made entire levels out of them with a banger multiplayer that wasn't even going to be a thing for a while. Like, to make this game's multiplayer when you were told by your studio not to make the multiplayer and do it anyway is just so crazy to me. I love this. Duke Nukem 64, absolutely love it. Man, Adventure Island, I thought would be a little higher, but still in the top 10, so I'm fine with that. 64, it's so funny. If you had told my child self that this was in the top 10 games, I would have been like, there's no way. What are you talking about? San Andreas up here. I didn't love this one when it came out either, but I love it now. I think this is all pretty damn good. I don't know, man. Tui and Kazooie, just, I go back and forth. I think I'm going to switch these actually because I love the world in Tui more than I like the world in Banjo Kazooie. Banjo Kazooie, you just kind of go through the motions, you know? There's not a whole lot of backtracking, which I don't love backtracking in games anyway. But I think Tui connected all the worlds together, so you felt like you were just on this giant explorative thing. Whereas like Banjo Kazooie, it was like, okay, I'm done with this part. Now I never have to think about that part again. And so I don't know. They're both so good though. But I think GoldenEye just has it for me. I think I'm gonna keep it the way it is. Yeah, this is my list. I think I'm good here. I think I need a top 200. You should do it. Yeah, do a top 200. That'd be awesome. You could do the same format here too, and just do like 1 through 20 instead. I think that'd be super sick. But yeah, so that's the list, y'all. I think I'm pretty set on this thing. And yo, you guys seriously put out some lists, do some ideas, throw some things around if you want to. Do a stream of it, do a YouTube video of it. Like whatever you're feeling. I think that would be awesome. Um Yeah, Joe, I'd like to play Age of Empires too. I think it's so fun. I love how they keep updating it and stuff too. New like factions and things in there. It's so good. Um, yeah, man. Well, that's our list, y'all. I think I'm gonna go end stream, eat something, kind of chill for a bit, figure out what's up with my allergy situation, and then be up tonight to hang out and get some stuff done. Replay the top 50. That'd be really good. Yeah. Spam the trebuchets. Yo, you know what I like? I like to do the cannon galleons. Man, those things are great. If you had like a river or something, just shoot a bunch of cannon galleons through that river. You could take out entire civilizations without even being touched. It was awesome. W list, W telly, man. I really enjoyed the interacting as well. I liked the questions. I liked hanging out with you guys doing this because I do a lot of rankings and like lists on the Havocast YouTube channel, but there's no interaction. It's just me just talking. So this is really cool that there was some input and some interaction. And like I say, shout out to Jetstopia for having the idea. He's got a lot of clever, fun ideas like this, and he actively invites people to involve themselves in it too, which I think is really cool because some people just have ideas and they're like, I don't take my idea. That's my idea. But Jet's like, hey, I like doing this and I do it annually and I want to see what other people have, going on for them. It did. It's so funny. That was 3 hours and 12 minutes for the list. I thought we were going to take 4 hours for it, but yeah, I don't know. I had an idea of kind of where stuff would sit going into this. But at the same time, I think moving a few things around at the end kind of really made sense to me. Wait, yeah, dude, we just did 3 hours and almost 15 minutes of a stream just now. It's crazy. Yeah, I know. I can't believe how quick that went through also. I don't know what it was, but I think it's just because when you break stuff up, this is like 24-hour streams too. If you guys are ever doing 24-hour streams, breaking things up or having a game that really breaks up like the flow of the game is so much easier to do 24-hour streams. And when I play a game where I feel like I'm doing like kind of a long mission or the same thing over and over again, it just drags. Whereas like if like repo runs, for instance, were great early on for 24-hour streams or long streams because it was like every run is about half an hour to 45 minutes for me. So I know if I do like, 20 levels, that's almost a 24-hour stream right there. Oh, dude, I could do Minecraft. I don't even Minecraft. I literally got out of bed to play Minecraft the other day. I couldn't sleep just thinking about all the stuff I wanted to do. I mean, Telly will tell you, like, I was about to fall asleep on stream, and then I'm like, we're going to hang out and play Minecraft, though, right? And so then me and her were, spending hours. I mean, like 5 hours. It just flew by. So good, though. Yeah, I love that. List keeps growing. Oh, I know. That's what I like about this, though, too. Next year, it could be totally different because, like, I mean, the bottom 10 games, who knows? I might have a few other things to add on there. And I'll tell you what, I'm really loving the fact that like some of these games I didn't think would make the list that made the list. I mean, Gex being on here surprised me because I'm like, I do like the game. I don't know. I'm like, go lie in bed right now. I know, man, but I love that Telly. I'm so glad you're loving the game. And like I said, I'm having all kinds of things I want to like mod and play and do. Oh man, right? And that's the thing. Like you have these ideas of like, I want to put up a greenhouse. I want to put up this road to go here. I set up a mine in my house and I was like, man, how am I going to close it off to make it not look stupid? So, it's just, oh God, I love it. I love Minecraft and I love hanging out with you guys. Thank you for a fantastic stream. We'll definitely try to do more of this stuff too. And I have no problem with any other ideas that we have thrown my way. But if you guys are doing something like this, definitely let me know because I'd love to see what you guys got going on. Minecraft is the mods we're using is only scratching this. Oh, I know. Oh my God. That's why I'm saying like us doing a sky block or like, one of those crash landing. I want to do that. Like the crash landing survival ones. Dude, there's so many. And I think Telly would really like those too. Skyblock especially, dude. Skyblock is the best concept of like any game, I feel like. Just literally start with a patch of dirt and you just make whatever you want. Did some work while you're gone. Oh, hell yeah. I can't wait to see. Man, I love logging on and seeing what's been done and what's happening with everything. It's so fun. But yeah, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure hanging out. I cannot thank you enough. I'm going to take the next 2 days. I might do some YouTube streams here and there, but I'm definitely going to take the next 2 days, tonight, tomorrow, to work on a few things, but also just get a routine down and start really setting myself up for the rest of the month and the next couple of months. And hopefully we have a pretty set routine until the wedding, and then we'll figure it out after that. But yeah, it's good stuff. I got to check out what Stone Block is. I've never heard of that actually. There's a lot of different variations of Skyblock. I actually did a YouTube series on some Skyblock that I want to do another version of it too. I don't know. There's so much I want to do. List instead of sleeping because I don't. Yeah, I know. I'm telling you, it's literally the best. Like you get these ideas and it's just you just go with them. It gives you this energy. It's so cool. But yeah, guys, thank you all for hanging out. I will talk to you later. I will see you later. And it was an absolute pleasure. We got to do more like this. All right, y'all. Have a good one. Telly, I love you the most as always. And thank you all for everything.